Hello, this is Mole Man in the morning. Good Mole Man to you.
Hello, welcome to Mole Man in the Morning.
Mole Man. Because the episodes are long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was a long Mole Man, a long episode.
They were two long
Neat.
episodes.
They sure were. Hello and welcome. We are Mole Man in the Morning. We are a podcast about how The Simpsons has a lot to say about society. I am your host, John. I am joined, as ever, by my co-host, Matt.
Idly ho, podcasterinos.
Wait, that's not your catchphrase.
Someone had to say it.
We are not joined, as ever, by my other co-host, Michael, who is, I assume,
dead.
At this point in time, he's either dead or he's laid on the beach having cocktails poured into a funnel down his gullet by oiled twinks. Yeah, he does. I want to know, like, how? Like, how does he make this work?
Probably all he spends his money on.
Yeah,
Or
maybe.
Slowly sinking into debt.
But either way, I'm deeply envious of the amount of holidays that man takes.
Yeah.
Oh well. In any rate, we get to enjoy a couple of episodes of The Simpsons. Standing in for him, we have got a returning champion, the one and only Mr. Alzorath.
Hello. A new challenger! But he's not new.
Finish him.
I just wanted to do the Smash Brothers voice.
He's filling up the stamps on his Mole Man in the Morning loyalty card.
Yeah.
At 10 stamps, you get a pair of MeUndies.
At
10 stamps, you never have to come on again.
I mean, who doesn't like new undies?
Oh, dude, MeUndies, please, just sponsor us. Just give me... I don't want money, I just want free underwear. Genuinely, just for the rest of my life, every, 6 months, send me, 4 pairs of underwear. Boom.
As we continue to grow to a size that I would describe as adequate, I keep wondering, how big do you have to be to get underwear from MeUndies? Because I keep thinking maybe we're moving in the right direction.
That's
maybe.
Awesome.
I don't know. I need to investigate further on that one, I think.
Hey, if you need any more motivation, if we get traction, I'll actually have an incentive and a desire and a motivation to keep doing Arnold. There you go, fans. You want more Arnold? Make this show more popular.
If you want a better podcast, you have to support it by watching a worse podcast.
This is definitely better than All for Arnold.
I wholly disagree, but beg to differ. Anyway, we are here to talk about 2 episodes of The Simpsons, as we always are. We are up to episodes 6 and 7 of season 5 currently. We are going to be looking at Marge on the Lam and Bart's Inner Child today.
Truly exciting. Truly exciting episodes. I don't know why I went slightly Trumpy in that. Truly exciting, great episodes of Simpsons. You're going to love them.
The best ever.
The best ever Simpsons.
I mean, I think I can infer your opinions on them from this. I had a weird hunch you might like the second one.
I have opinions. I'm not gonna spoil them this time. I have been in a habit of the last few episodes of immediately, right out of the bat, giving my opinions. So tune in for 5 minutes from now to hear what I think about these episodes.
I mean, I grew up on these episodes. I think they were fine.
Just these 2? You only watch these 2 over and over?
Yeah, only these 2.
You had
a very specific channel that you were subscribed to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you had to watch half an episode of MASH on the VHS that your uncle recorded them on before you could actually watch The Simpsons, and the intro was cut out.
Yeah, it was a Simpsons hostage situation. But no.
Drinking!
Yeah, before we do that, let's talk about what we're drinking this week.
Well, my friends, I thought, since I've been such a grumpy puss the last few episodes, we needed something special. We needed something unique. We needed a returning guest. So I bought some dragon soup.
Oh, fuck no. I knew you were going to say that. The way you hyped it up, I knew it was going to be.
This stuff tastes like sadness. Bottoms. I don't know if I bought... I genuinely can't remember what. I think I had raspberry last time, so this is raspberry. Oh, it tastes so bad.
You
Oh, it's so awful.
You were uncontrollable last time.
It's so bad. Why do people? Why? I'm gonna drink some more. Oh,
So bad, give me more.
oh.
Just due to a very brief reference that I guess we'll get into in the second episode, I went down a Wikipedia hole of researching fortified wine today, so I'm surprised you didn't rock up with a bottle of Buckfast.
Port is a type of fortified wine, right?
It is.
Yeah, I love
it is
port.
implied. Yeah. I think it was implied that Troy McClure? Was it Troy McClure or
Troy McClure?
Lionel Hutz? Whichever. One of the Phil Hartmans. Yeah, I don't think he was drinking anything quite so fancy as port.
No, that's true. And I don't think you could get, like, good port this time of year anywhere.
You can get port. Well, port's...
No, all right, sorry.
Yeah, you go
in my
to wine
town.
shop. Okay.
I'm not going to
Yeah,
Leeds just to get a nice bottle of port for this podcast.
This podcast isn't worth it to you?
It would be if I was getting paid.
Well, we will work on undies. I can't promise you
I
money,
know
but
for a
we'll work
fact
on
that
undies.
we are in only a few seasons we are going to start going downhill. So
Yeah,
I
same
feel
So then
like
you're going to
for the-
need the port.
we run the risk of becoming the people we hate online, John. The people that are just incessantly whining and bitching about the things that they consume, and all you can think of is you don't have to watch it, and
But
that's
you
what
want
we're
it.
going to
This
be.
is true. Yeah, I mean, I think The Simpsons is fine at the very least up until season 12. At that point, I don't know. I haven't watched beyond that. There might be some okay episodes.
I
in
said
there.
the other day that I've watched like a couple episodes of Modern Simpsons just because they were on like the. I don't know how modern they were because obviously there's a lot of what's considered modern Simpsons, but like the latest one I watched was the one where Bart gets a cow, which I just kind of got the joke of don't have a cow, man. But I saw that one. Yeah, it was funny. You know, it had some good bits in it. I thought there was only like one joke in it that I thought was like too referential because fuck, I don't care. He's riding one of those farming machines that like spits out the bales of hay kind of thing.
A baler.
Whatever it's called. But he was driving over a bunch of stuff and it would turn things into cubes, except for when he drove over literal shit and it turned it into copies of Pirates of the Caribbean 3, which I just thought was like way too on the nose. And it's not that like, I mean, I like the third film. I think it's fine. But yeah, I just kind of was like, that felt a little Family Guy, in my opinion, rather than Simpsons.
Yeah.
And then the other one was one where Homer and Krusty have to like break into a gang hideout, and there's one bit where they're like hanging from a telephone wire to like climb like to stealthily get into the house, but they're both fat, so the wire bends, and they're like just above the heads of two guards, and both of the guards are like, I feel like looking up right now. I heard there's an eclipse. We should look up at the sky like right now. And I found that really funny, but yeah, so it's fine. I'm sure it'll be fine, but there is definitely going to be the episode where a certain someone literally paid to be on it so he could be glazed for 30 minutes.
I mean, I think once we get into Modern Simpsons, there's going to be a lot of people that like just fucking hate turning up throughout.
Yeah, I mean,
just statistically.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the joke that they had J.K. Rowling say. I don't know if I'll like it anymore, but I liked the gag. The gag was funny. It made Lisa entertaining, which is rare.
Fine.
Al, what are you drinking?
Yeah.
I actually forgot to open this before stream, so you're gonna hear a crickle thing. I am drinking.
I always open live on stream.
Well, I'm not drinking alcohol, but
Boo.
I have water, and I have a pineapple banana
That's not water.
guava drink. I think that's the third flavor that's supposed to be in here. It's got potassium.
That sounds headache-inducingly sweet.
It is.
But granted, now that I've been to America, all of your pop gives me a headache, which was very
This isn't even
disappointing.
carbonated.
Is it not? Oh, then
Oh no!
that sounds great.
Oh, ooh.
That sounds
What?
way better.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, dude. Nah, fruit juice. Hell yeah, fruit juice all the way.
Is it fruit juice or is it just like
It's
a
fruit
flavored
juice.
drink? Okay, that's not too bad.
It's got
Okay.
actual fruit in it and stuff and potassium.
Like whole chunks.
Speaking of, yeah, as a drinks industry person, we relatively recently made some flat drinks, and they were like, I don't know, someone asked for them, someone asked us to make them, but they were bad. Flat drinks bad.
Flat alcohol. Generally,
It wasn't
agree.
alcohol. It was a flat soft drink.
Well, weirdly enough, dragon soup is relatively flat.
Only alcohol that I like that isn't carbonated is like hard liquor kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't be able to carbonate it, and it would be weird and silly to do so. Yeah,
Man, I love a good rum.
fizzy
though.
whiskey.
I'm just thinking about bubbly schnapps. That'd be horrifying.
John, what are you drinking?
And I am drinking Brooklyn Brewery's Sorachi Ace Saison Ale at 7.2%.
I heard sriracha. Is this a spicy one again?
No, Sorachi's a type of hop.
Oh, okay. The more
Yeah,
you know.
It just sounded nice. It's not a weird bit. Well, Saison's a bit of a divisive style of beer, but like I like them. So yeah. I just got a beer that I like the sound of today.
I always just imagine that whatever you're drinking it
Pretty
off
good.
the belly of a young Filipino boy you found.
I mean, I thought that was implied.
Yeah, and the two others with the giant leaf fronds to fan you.
It is pretty warm today. Fan harder. Come on.
God's sake.
Anyway, Marge on the Lamb. Let's do this quarter of an hour into this nonsense.
Hell yeah.
Aired on November 4th, 1993. On this day, Elton John got a lot of money from the Sunday Mirror for reporting lies about his diet.
Oh. Did he have a McDonald's when he shouldn't have?
I don't know. It does not elaborate on what the story about Elton John's diet was.
Excellent.
All it says is that he got a lot of money. He got like 518,000.
Wait, he got money for telling lies about his diet?
I think they lied about him and he sued them and got the
okay.
money.
I now
Yeah.
understand what happened. Okay.
Yeah. Canada got a new prime minister.
Good on Canada.
Did they get a new secondary minister?
I don't know how Canada's politics works, so maybe, possibly. I don't know if that's a title they have.
It's just Al being
Could
a
be.
prick.
I assume so, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe. And in the music, we've got Meatloaf is back. I don't think Meatloaf was dominating both the charts last time, but Meatloaf, I'd do anything for love, but I won't do that, is #1 in both the UK and the US
Damn.
this week.
A comeback. I think that's the first time we've had that.
Is it a comeback? Did he leave? When did he leave?
Yeah, because he was top of the charts in both a couple weeks ago, and then wasn't in America, and then came back. So
Okay.
I think.
Just very frantically searching. No, he was #1 in the UK last time,
Okay, right. Never
but
mind.
not in the US.
Right. So he's just spreading his wings like a bat out of hell.
Absolutely.
My mum would love that joke.
Well, tell her to listen to the podcast. She can appreciate it.
Oh God, no! The things I've said on this show, Matthew. I didn't think that was very appropriate for you to say on a recording.
Yeah, but it's very entertaining.
Matthew, is that what I sound like in your head? Yes.
Appropriate and accurate are two different things.
Well, we've got no chalkboard gag this week because
Yeah, straight into
Matt
it.
observed earlier. Yeah, long episodes. Like, I mean, my first note for this episode was, at this point, I'm starting to think the chalkboard gag writer's actually just been fired. I don't think we've had a chalkboard gag for weeks.
I had a similar note. It just I said I've been dreading the long episodes because they rarely feel like they warrant the length. You know, and it's interesting that the longer episodes have been the ones that I've put the fewest notes in. Like both of these are long episodes, and they have very, very little notes. You know, there's just not a lot. I don't know. They're not as snappy, so I'm kind of half paying attention. I think at that point, like when it's gag, you just you're like locked in. You know, when it's really tight and succinct. But the longer the episode is, the more they have time to like drag jokes on, and you just kind of don't. I say you. I'm saying me. I'm not engaged as much because of the longer episodes, I think.
I mean, it's interesting to like make that distinction when we're arguing over like a minute of runtime.
Yeah.
It's like the difference between a 22 and a 23-minute episode.
Yeah, but yet it does feel longer.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, like at a certain point you're like, geez, this one is dragging on a bit, and I was like, it's a minute longer. That's it.
And that minute
All you
seems to
got.
be like dedicated to the opening joke.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh god,
Both of these have like long openings.
So our opener here is we have a telethon with a guy who's a parody of some sort of comedian show host thing from a while back in America. Al, please help. Who is this guy? Do you know this guy?
I do not
I'm
know
hoping
this
you know this
guy,
guy.
but I know the sort of like PBS fundraiser thing usually does have a guy like that I'd never remember the name of.
What? Someone that's incredibly boring? I don't like. I genuinely put that. Is there a joke, or is the joke there is no joke? Because I don't like the.
No, he is a parody of a character. He's a parody of a guy called Garrison Keillor, but like he's got a reasonably long Wikipedia article which suggests that he's got a bit of a career. But like, if he's noteworthy, he's not noteworthy in the UK for doing anything. I don't think. I was hoping by having American on that might remedy that.
No, he didn't ring a bell for little me at the time, and doesn't ring one today for specifics.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I had a look through his Wikipedia article. I was going to check out his stuff, but also it turns out he's, as so many people are with long careers, a bit of a sex pest, and still going to this day. So if you check out his work, you're kind of almost like giving him eyeballs. And like, I don't want to give a sex pest eyeballs.
We've
so,
talked
like...
about this, haven't we? This has weirdly come up so many times about separating the art from the artist, and when you're able to do it and when you're not able to do it, and that kind of thing. And it's I only wish it wasn't such a frequent topic of conversation.
It is
people
depressingly
of the world,
frequent, isn't it?
Stop touching people in bad ways. Stop it.
Touch them through emotions with your powerful work, but keep your hands off them.
I was watching a video recently, or it was either us playing games, but it brought up Rolf Harris, and it was
oh boy.
And yeah, exactly. And it was like an older video, so I kind of laughed because the joke was funny, because it was just the whole like, can you tell what it is yet? It was just that joke, but that joke was funny. But then you immediately realize that the person you're watching it with has no idea who Rolf Harris is, and you have to then kind of bring the mood down to be like, oh, I shouldn't have laughed at that. He was a rapist. Yeah, it's so lame. Like, can funny people stop being bad people? I used to like Louis C.K. Why? As long as nothing comes out about Mark Maron, I'm alright.
Well, it's okay, because Garrison Keillor isn't funny at all anyway.
Oh, fucking hell.
Well, I mean, not to The Simpsons, but for some reason the audience are lapping it up.
Yep.
It is unclear why. His delivery, he's reading out of a little book, and his delivery style is very dry and monotone. And yeah, Homer doesn't get it. The audience laughing, cheering, whooping along. I'd be fascinated to know if this is what Garrison Keillor's style is actually like.
Yeah, because there is dry comedy. There is like the joke is that they're not funny. You know, that is a thing. Like one of my favorite like comedians is Jay London, who is notoriously not funny, but that's kind of the joke. So I can see it, but it's like, and they're probably just hamming it up for the sake of the episode. I know for a fact we're gonna get another comment that's like, I can't believe they didn't get this reference. Oh my god.
I mean, there was reading the Simpsons archive. There was a fair bit of spirited discussion about Garrison Keillor, so clearly some folks are familiar with his work. But like, I don't think this is one that's.
Yeah. As we've said,
I don't think this is one that's going to work
Simpsons
today.
Writers write jokes for themselves. Sometimes that lands perfectly. Sometimes it doesn't.
I think he was probably more relevant in 1993, but in 2025, like as I say, he is somehow still going, but like I don't think he's well known.
And really, it's the internet. There is going to be somebody who is going to be like, that is my favorite person.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, Strawman commenter. Your favorite person is a weird sex pest now.
Yep.
Deal with it.
They are
I
not
hope
worthy
I-
of
I
our
hope-
awareness.
I really hope I'm not anyone's favorite content creator. Guys, there's better stuff out there. Go
You're
check
my
it
favorite
out.
content creator.
Yeah, that's because you don't have any friends. Oh, the dragon soup's kicking in, guys. Oh, shit.
Oh no. Got another hour and 40 minutes of this.
Continue.
Anyway,
Simpsons.
Homer thinks maybe it's the TV's fault and starts pounding on it, telling it to be more funny. This does not work, so we cut back to the show. We see they've raised $23 on their telethon. Pledge drive has space with leading zeros for figures in excess of $1 million. They're optimistic, clearly.
Bold.
So yeah, no, he turns it over to Troy McClure because he cannot keep up his blistering comedic pace forever.
Mhm.
Troy McClure is here to tell us about his previous telethons, Out with Gout 88 and Let's Save Tony Orlando's House.
How old is Troy McClure? You know, like he just... every time he mentions something, it feels like it's from further and further back.
I mean, Out with Gout 88 is implying that's like only 5 years ago at this
True.
time, so like 5 years earlier in his career, it's fine.
Yeah, but he's doing
I-
telethons, so he can't be doing that great.
Yeah, he would have to be middle-aged by then.
Oh, no.
I mean, I think everything Troy McClure does sort of implies that his career is not going that great.
This is very true.
So they're funding public television so they can bring you such shows as Edward the Penitent.
I fucking loved this bit. I don't know why. This was so fucking dumb. I'm really, 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 really sorry. Sorry doesn't work for this Pope. Ooh, it's so dumb.
Guess prodding at, I guess public television did Edward the Confessor at some points, but I'm not familiar with the source material on that one, but yeah, weird gag. But they do get a call on the telethon. Homer has a chuckle because some idiot's actually calling in. It turns out it's Marge, if you didn't see that joke coming a mile away.
Yep.
She doubles the pledge.
She does, yeah. She more money than they've raised so far. She pledges $30.
I like as well how she said, I'd like to pledge $30, and then seemingly hung up.
Yeah, she's like, oh, thank you, and then hangs up. That's it. There's no conversation. I don't know the mechanics there, no.
I would like to give you money. Bye. And she's just gone. Like, all right. I know that's just TV, but the whole vibe, I don't know why. That seems very Marge to me. It's just like it's like a thoughts and prayers thing. I'd like to give you money. Goodbye.
Yeah, I'm not going to. I'd like to. But no.
I don't remember if in the 90s they could actually just charge your phone number. I think they can.
I
Because I know like
Really?
900 numbers and
So-
stuff like that did.
I
Oh,
suppose, yeah.
okay. Oh, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
suppose-
I've never called a telethon.
I suppose that's what the people answering the phones there are for, is to like sort of note down the number and the time you called, so that then they can charge it.
I'm pretty sure, at least during those times, you would just provide.
Information.
Yeah. But I suppose they could charge it through there.
I
Just
don't
have
know.
Joe Budden.
Either way, like the episode is long enough without dwelling on Marge handing over her credit card number over the phone. So we skip over that bit, thankfully. Homer chides Marge because public TV doesn't have anything good, it's not worth supporting, but Marge thinks different, and at any rate, they gave her 2 tickets to the ballet.
If only they knew about the future.
What?
About public television. And how much fights there's been, like, just to keep it going over the years.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has gotten better, though, as far
Okay.
as the quality.
We live in Britain, so I feel like if they tried to take away the BBC from us, we're all so ingrained that the BBC is like part of being British that I think it would be the first time that British people actually rioted.
Yeah,
And I mean like
yeah,
proper riot, like French riots.
yeah, like, I mean, I don't think, or I mean, I guess BBC is public television, but I don't think of it in the same way because in the same way that it's always depicted on American media, because it's just like a very different structure. Yeah, it's just they shout at everybody until they pay them 100 and whatever quid a year to fund it.
Yeah.
And then send threatening letters through your letterbox every month.
That's my American
if you don't
friends about
pay.
public television. Oh well, I'll forget.
Anyway, Homer loves the ballet. Marge isn't sure about that.
I do not know why I didn't see this coming. I do not know why I didn't see this coming. Because Homer is way too obstinate about it. Because what does he say? He says, I enjoy every taste of the cultural milieu or something?
I enjoy all the meats of our cultural stew.
Ah, yes. Much more Homer.
Yes.
But yeah, he's so obstinate about it, and then yeah, of course he thinks the circus.
Yeah, we get Homer's imagination. He's just watching a bear driving a tiny car in circles yeah.
You could have stopped me and kept talking, but
no.
You went silent. It was like the fucking elevator bit again.
I was just enjoying the music.
Yeah. I am just enjoying the mental image of the bear going in circles.
Admittedly, yeah, if someone was like, look, I don't like the idea of like old school circuses. They sound pretty horrific. But if someone did say to me, do you want to go see a bear drive a tiny car? I would consider it. Maybe that makes me not a perfect person. I also eat meat occasionally, very regularly. But I would consider going to see a bear drive a tiny car. Gotta be honest.
The one bit of trivia that always makes me do a double take is when talking about, the circus music, is that the title of that song is Entrance of the Gladiators,
yes!
Which is like...
That's so good, right?
No, that doesn't match the music at all.
There's a great comedian that does a whole bit about it. British comedian. He's so funny. I'll have to find him and send you his name because he's really, really funny, and then you can put it in the show notes.
Cool. All right, will do.
Al, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just like, say, imagining the gladiators walking into that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that should just be the entrance, the opening theme to Gladiators.
Just
Incredible.
Can someone redub Zack Snyder's 300 with that music, please? You could do that for me? Yeah, I'd be very pleased.
Anyway, Homer's humming Entrance of the Gladiators. He's interrupted by the doorbell ringing. And it's Ruth Powers, whom we have not seen since...
still humming.
Oh yeah, he's just in the
Marge
background.
answers the door. He's still...
Ruth Powers, who we've not seen since season (2), is it? Maybe?
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a hot minute. To say it's the Simpsons' next door neighbor on the other side from Ned, whom we see every damn week. Like, we never see her.
Ruth Powers is such a Marvel name as well.
I had to look her up while watching this because did she already show up this early? She literally is supposedly still in the series.
Yeah, she's appeared very, very infrequently, but she does exist.
I mean, I like her as a character, so I wish they would make better use of her. But
she's fun.
Well,
yeah, I think a lot of people might find her cloying. She is basically very similar to, the guy that makes the jokes all about his ex-wife kind of thing, and that gets annoying. So there's no reason to think that a woman doing it would be more funny. So I think that they probably tried to use her sparingly and have now used her way too sparingly,
Yeah.
Because I do think she's funny. I like her whole vibe, but
well, she gets a good outing today. She's definitely one of the main characters of this episode, and it's a good one for it. I think I like to see a different character get some screen time.
Absolutely.
So yeah, she's coming to visit, see if she can borrow a power sander. Marge asks Homer if he's got one.
Why is he using it as a footrest, and why is it on? And why wasn't it in the shot earlier?
Have you never had a foot vibrator?
Yeah, I guess that's what he's doing, isn't it? It's just foot massager thing. Yeah.
Oh, no, that kind of makes sense, but I hate it. It's
Homer begrudgingly allows her to take it, but as I say, remember it's mine.
property of Ned
Close-up
Flanders.
shot. Yeah, close-up shot of Ned's sticker on the side.
Anytime Homer claims something is his, even if they don't show it, you know it's Ned's.
Half of the
You
stuff in
know
that
it's been
house is
stolen.
Ned's.
Yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't be surprised if Ned owns the house.
Yeah, they just moved in one day, and Ned was just
Ned
too
was
polite.
like, "Wait, oh, okay, yeah, fine. I guess that's okay."
Too
Ned
nice
was
to
planning
deny
to,
them
like,
squatter rights.
yeah, he was planning to rent it out, but Homer was just like, "This is ours now," and Ned's like, "Oakley dokley," and then he just accepts it.
That's a deeply plausible origin story.
It's very plausible, isn't it?
Anyway, we cut to the Simpsons kitchen where Lisa is educating Homer as to what ballet actually is and what he's agreed to
That's
go to.
what ballet is.
We get a surprisingly proto-Family Guy bit where Marge says, "Don't back out like that time you went to volunteer for an army experiment to avoid dinner at her sister's." So we get a flashback of Homer, younger, with some hair, getting random injections in a military camp somewhere.
I mean, would you take random injections or the sisters? Which one would you choose?
Oh, definitely the injections, man. I would so not want to hang out with Patty and Selma. That
Even at the
sounds
cost of hair
like-
loss, giddiness, and the loss of equilibrium?
You've seen my hair. You couldn't pull that out.
Well, you haven't had military jabs yet.
You haven't had military jabs. That was so threatening.
You haven't had military grade anti-Rogaine.
Anti-Rogaine. The amount of reasons, like canonical reasons why Homer is the way he is very funny to me. You know,
Yeah, I was gonna note on the fact that, like, we have multiple origin stories of Homer's hair, if nothing else, and like this is just one of many at this point.
Because I know it's not. I don't think it was ever planned. Obviously, I think they just wanted Homer to be an idiot. But the notion to me that Homer is secretly a genius and he just needs to take the crayon out of his nose.
Oh yeah,
makes everything so much funnier. You know, and again, but there's like so many, like obviously he got into drinking really young, or he was about to go to college, but was it a pig? No, there's a dog. With a dog with a piece of chicken or something, and he was like, "No, the piece of chicken is mine," and it's so good. I love Homer.
Anyway, we see that the vaccine did exactly what they said it would, and Homer, to this day, has no hair, bouts of giddiness, and falls on the floor randomly.
It's so obvious. But some of the best jokes in Simpsons, in my opinion, are the ones you see coming 100 miles away. That him just say, he says, like, totally worth it, and then just fucking
it was worth
flops.
it, yeah.
Yeah, he just flops and then giggles.
Yeah, but also, I do think some of the best stuff is just delivered entirely through just really good Foley, and just the thud is just like really impactful here.
And the brief, it's just a long enough pause before he starts giggling.
Yeah,
it
falls on the floor and then giggles. Yeah. Anyway, we move to see Homer at work the following day, or same day, not sure. Anyway, next scene. Homer's at work. He's chatting to Lenny and Carl about whether they want to get a beer on the way home. Homer says, "No, I gotta go take my wife to the ballet."
And then fucking Lenny says, "Oh yeah, off to see the bear in the car." And it's just like, wait a minute, because the way it's so passing that when they said it, I like stopped and was like, wait a second. You know what I mean? You look to the side and like, is this a bit? Because it just took me off guard. It was really clever. Very good, like, again, delivery and everything.
And nod back to an earlier scene.
Almost an implication that the circus turned up in Springfield at once, advertising itself as ballet.
As
everyone
the ballet,
thinks that's what it is.
Yeah. The voice actor for Lenny doesn't get enough credit. Is that also Hank Azaria? It's not, is it?
Don't know off the top of my head. I can probably find out fairly quickly. Voice credits. Lenny's Harry Shearer.
Harry Shearer. All right, fair enough. Yeah, I didn't think it was Hank Azaria, but he has that voice where you're like, if you told me it was Hank Azaria... Oh, Hank Azaria has actually portrayed Lenny at one point in Homer's Night Out.
Oh, really? Okay.
But that was like one of the early.
That was while I was still figuring out the characters and didn't know who was who.
Yeah,
right?
episode 10.
Mm.
Yeah, so. Yeah, if you'd said Lenny was Hank Azaria, I would have believed you, basically, is what I'm saying. But he's not.
Anyway, they pass a vending machine. It's advertising new Crystal Cola, Crystal Buzz Cola, which is...
Why does Homer think that means it's invisible?
Because it's crystal. You can't see it.
You
can see it on the picture. You can't...
That's not logic.
They have a picture of an invisible cola.
You can't see crystals, Matt. You fucking idiot. That's how the Predator was invisible. Was he just covered himself in diamonds?
I mean, back in the day, this is a reference to Crystal Pepsi.
Yes.
It was advertised as clear.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, I'm glad they didn't lie to me.
It was advertised as invisible, though.
No. But this is also one of those, the punchline of it is very visible early on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So much of this you see coming a mile off.
Admittedly, I didn't see the second punchline coming, but that's...
Oh, really? Yeah, Homer decides he wants some free invisible cola. He's going to jam his hand in and pull a can out. Carl advises against this because he says somebody lost an arm in there once. Homer thinks that's just no old wives' tale and goes for it anyway. We see him reaching in. We can see like the sort of the X-ray of the vending machine as he puts his hand through, and there is indeed a skeletal arm in there.
This comes full circle. I just realized because the skeleton arm is still holding the can. Oh my god!
Yeah.
The writers are geniuses. I take back everything I've ever said. Every episode of Simpsons is perfect. Even the B Sharps is great. I love that episode. It's all great. Never mind. I take it all back.
I was trying to make sense of the fact that the skeletal hand is holding onto a can of Fresca. No, specifically why did they choose Fresca? Because that is a real brand that really exists and still exists today. And
it's worth dying for.
Yeah. It's weird that they would use a real brand, but also I in my research to try and figure that out, apparently it's referenced in quite a lot of media. A lot of shows have had Fresca in it for not entirely clear reasons.
I genuinely, because of how often it is used in sitcoms, I thought it was like an American term for pop. So
no,
I didn't know it was a brand.
It's genuinely like a grapefruit soda that's been around since like the 50s or something.
Part of me wonders if the use of Fresca as a brand on a show predates the actual release brand or not.
Wait, so you're saying that the brand named themselves after the show?
Or they could have been kind of comprised at the same time.
Okay. Is Fresca... Right, is Fresca like an American word that a company would name their pop after?
I mean,
also...
Fresca is Italian for fresh, if I remember correctly.
Right, okay. So I get what you're saying now. Yeah, so it was just kind of like a coincidental joke.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the official story is just that it's a short, memorable, distinctive word. It is exactly as corporate as you'd expect, but...
Yeah, pick a word that means, like, good, pick a different language, and then name your product after that.
Yeah.
It's very common.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Homer does grab hold of the can and does indeed get stuck, exactly as Carl predicted. Lenny and Carl...
Why did they run away?
They flee. Homer asks for help, and they both just flee. He's done for, let's get out of here.
They genuinely, the writers, just thought, we need a reason for Lenny and Carl to not be here to help him.
Yeah.
Let's just have them leave. You know, they just didn't care. They were just like, nah, just have them leave.
Homer, in an admirable display of dedication to Marge and, by extension, to the ballet, decides he's going to just drag the entire vending machine with him.
Homer always comes through.
Or tries to, at least.
Yeah.
He does get waylaid by an entirely different vending machine. He decides to try the same thing again, if you didn't see that one coming.
I didn't, for some stupid reason.
So he does. He sticks his arm in and gets stuck in the second vending machine.
It's very convenient that there was a phone nearby.
Yeah. So and he managed to
and
like
that he's got
somehow
a
get it.
prehensile tongue or something.
Yeah, he somehow managed to get the phone and dial it, and yeah,
You don't dial the phone with your feet every time?
No, I do it with my nose.
he's got like, yeah, very
I've actually got a
hyper. He's got like
prehensile nose.
hypermobility. That's it, isn't it?
Homer has Ehlers-Danlos. We're just gonna...
Maybe
That's
maybe,
the one. Yeah.
Maybe the plant knows that Homer is going to need to call his wife so often that every phone in the building has Marge on speed dial.
Yeah, quite possibly. Marge does get a call. Yeah, and
She's not surprised that Homer... Marge, you may find this hard to believe.
when I'm trapped inside 2 vending machines.
It's so good. And
Yeah.
Marge is just like complete just defeat.
Yeah, it's an interesting line because I kind of was sort of expecting a bit of a reaction from Marge of like, no, that's actually totally plausible. I totally believe you, but like it's just kind of a sigh, and I like, oh, you made an excuse kind of thing.
Or you made the problem to avoid it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard
Yeah.
to tell if she thinks he's done this on purpose or if he's lying.
Anyway, Marge offers the tickets to her sisters, who happen to be there for convenient plot reasons. They dismiss that as girl stuff.
Yeah, why? It just... Oh, God's sake. You'd think they'd be there to make a joke at Homer's expense, because that's so far been Patty and Selma's only purpose in the show.
Yeah, well, they didn't get the context or conversation about that. They just, yeah, I don't know.
No, they just wanted them to be there to reject Marge and say
Yeah,
something.
that's it. I mean, it's only like a momentary
It's
gag.
a passing
that
gag.
Also, like, feels completely superfluous to everything. Like, it just does not need to be there. Like, the episode would not be any more or less without it.
I guess it's to further drive why Marge then asked Powers
Yeah,
to
okay.
go, is because she had no other option kind of thing, or...
Yeah, Ruth Powers turns up to return the power sander, makes some remarks about her ex-husband again. Marge realizes, hey, here's somebody else who can go to the ballet with me, and offers her the ballet ticket. So they do indeed go to it. It's in the gymnasium at Springfield High School.
Springfield has a theatre.
I think so.
Yeah.
This is all in set up for one gag. I'm not complaining about the gag. It was just my first thought was when they got there. I was like, Springfield has a theater, right?
Well, the theater was occupied by the other ballet, the Doo ballet.
Ah, yes, the circus. My apologies. The ballet was in town, and Marge and Ruth decided to go see the circus instead at the Springfield High School.
Yep. Also, a reminder, this was like ballet tickets offered by like basically
telethon.
NPR kind of thing. Yeah,
They're not going to be great, I guess. Yeah. Wait, I just realized, don't Burns and Smithers have like a booth? How is there a booth in the gymnasium?
Oh yeah, they totally do. Yeah, I mean, missed that
Wait,
entirely.
what?
If you're rich enough, you can have a booth anywhere you want.
Imagine
Bring their own
that.
booth with them.
Imagine that. You're like, I will be attending your soiree, but I expect a booth. And everyone's just like, okay.
If you're paying enough money, we will install a booth. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
Yeah. that's a good eye. That's a good detail. I hadn't even, even noticed.
Literally just dawned on me. I was just like, wait a second.
Yeah, it's very clearly the gym because you got all the markings on the floor
Yeah.
that everyone's dancing over. Everyone's just sat in like the bleachers, I guess is that what you call them?
Yeah, please.
Watching it. And yeah, in the back wall there is recessed a booth with Burns and Smithers in.
I love their conversation as well.
Yeah. Far too much dancing, not nearly enough prancing.
And then Smithers just being all like, a little mincing would be nice. It's like well-timed snobbery. Excellent. Chef's kiss for me.
Also felt like gay joke? Question mark.
I wasn't gonna bring it up because I thought I was gonna be the only person that thought that, but then I kind of stopped myself and thought, what am I thinking? Am I just thinking that because it's Smithers talking about ballet?
It's Smithers and specifically the use of the word mincing. Yeah. That's a word very associated with being gay in the 90s, definitely.
So
at
it's
any rate
prancing,
as well.
admittedly.
Maybe, I don't know. I'd say mincing feels more so to me.
But men and ballet in general is kind of like a gay thing. No, I'm not saying that that's true. I'm saying in terms of association. Because, I mean, when did Billy Elliot come out? It's
I have no idea.
It's like a theater. When was the original? I don't. Again, I think it's us making the association rather than actually being an intended joke here. Let's get our expert opinion on ballet. Al, as the PhD in ballet.
Just because I took ballet classes doesn't mean I'm an expert.
Dude, I took 4 years of dance. It's all good. As an expert in little bears driving big cars, is there a gay joke here?
Considering when this came out, yes, it was probably an intentional gay joke.
Yeah. I mean, again, yeah, because it's Smithers. Every joke with Smithers is like a sort of concealed Burns sexual joke.
That was the running gag at the time.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, last time we had a discussion about whether it was a Burns sexual or a is Smithers gay joke, and with these two,
really
twice in
hard.
succession, it's starting to feel like, are we moving in the direction of fleshing Smithers out as a character who is now gay as opposed to specifically Burns sexual?
Yeah.
Don't know, maybe. Let's file that one under maybe.
Clunk.
Awesome.
Anyway, this does build up to the, as you say, the finale of them doing a huge leap through the air and landing in the basketball ring and the buzzer going off.
I loved everyone's gasp. Also, there was the thing that Ruth said, so-and-so's loins should be a crime or something.
Oh, yeah.
I liked that because, again, it was Marge laughing at it. It's just that reminder, Marge fucking horny, guys. Marge real horny. All the time, all Marge is thinking about is dick.
Repressed horny.
You say that, and yet, like, throughout this episode, Marge's interactions are, like, incredibly wholesome through most of this.
True. Yeah.
Which is it's a fun through line, and it's endlessly amusing to me. But like the whole Marge horny thing sort of shelved a little bit today to just be like
Marge is a
Marge
freak
wholesome
in the bedroom.
Yeah,
You know, it's like once she's behind closed doors, and which actually I never even realized that is probably a very deliberate choice. Because Marge doesn't, I don't think very often, very publicly flirt. Not the real kinky shit, you know. So it is probably a kind of
I
joke
don't know.
on
Whacking
that.
Day, she was like,
True, yeah, and there are like multiple episode gags where they have sex in public.
yes,
So,
oh yeah. We'll
maybe
get
I'm
there
wrong.
at some
Maybe
point.
Marge is just a straight up freak. I mean, there's a reason there's a website dedicated to her feet.
Not dedicated.
Why does that
She just has an article on WikiFeet, wasn't it? It's not margesfeet.com.
Well, when I finish my purchase on GoDaddy, it will exist.
God. It's just going to be a yellow website with yellow feet.
Anyway, the ballet finishes. Marge makes a leave. Ruth would like to stay out longer because it's 9:30. But no, Marge is serious.
And this
Yeah.
is a nod to a future joke as well.
Yeah, it all comes full circle.
They do that a
Mhm.
lot
Yeah.
in this episode in particular, where it's
Callbacks, yeah.
a lot of callbacks.
We cut back to Homer. Homer's getting rescued from his vending machine. He's lamenting the thought that he might have to have these things on his arms forever. He imagines being at Maggie's wedding. Maggie walking down the aisle, still sucking on a dummy. Because
Snacks and drinks for everyone. Convenient.
Yep. Homer literally has the ability to dispense at will.
Have you ever had that like kind of situation though, where something's happened to you, either like, you know, you took a curb funny and hurt your ankle, or you know, something happened basically that you've now thought your brain has just spiraled to the point where you're thinking you're gonna have to live with this forever. Like when you get a really nasty cold and you just kind of the dark part of your brain's like, I'm just gonna have a cold forever. I guess I just have to start living with a cold. I guess I'll have to start buying more tissues. Maybe I could start my own tissue brand, because then if I'm going to be using them, I want to get good quality one. Then your brain just keeps going like that. Or is it just me?
Might be you.
Fuck.
I think I've only ever had anything even remotely like that is whenever I crushed my foot and I was like, Damn, now I might have to buy a different size shoe for my left foot.
I feel like that's so much worse because that's so real. You just like do something wonky with your foot. You're like, well, that one's permanently smaller now.
Anyway, the guy who's come to rescue Homer has to give him the bad news, which is that he is going to have to use a circular saw to cut his entire arms off.
But they'll grow back, right?
Yeah.
Oh, phew.
Which seems like a dramatic solution to disassembling the vending machine, which might be an easier solution, but I'm not a rescue guy. What do I know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're clearly not qualified. You clearly haven't rescued people from this situation.
Anyway, a more qualified guy wearing a lab coat and a hard hat asks if Homer's just holding onto the can.
Yep. Your point being?
Then cut to Homer walking out of the power
Literally
plant.
being laughed out of the power plant.
Cascades of laughter behind him. In spite of the fact that this being after hours and everybody has gone home, and we saw earlier that everybody has gone home, and we can hear Lenny and Carl in the background laughing as part of the gaggle.
Maybe they knew what was going on and just wanted to be there whenever
everyone came to Gorp. Yeah. Back to Ruth and Marge. They've gone for coffee, so, wild night out, I guess. They've gone to a late night diner or something, gone for coffee, and just chatting about Ruth's ex-husband again.
Yeah.
For some reason, back when I first watched this, like, I was preteen at the time. My first thought on it was this was going to turn into a romance arc between Marge and...
Yeah.
That was... When I was younger, that was where my brain went. I knew where it was going when I watched it this time, but it does give that vibe.
There are non-canon episodes where Marge has, like, kissed a woman.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, like, for anyone unaware, this episode is based on Thelma and Louise,
Yeah,
and
it's straight
they
up
do
Thelma
kiss
and
at the end of that, so, yeah, like, it wouldn't be unsurprising, given what they're riffing on, for that to happen, but it would be weird in 1993 for them to do that.
Have any of you actually watched Thelma and Louise?
No, I haven't.
No, me neither. Al?
Way, way back when, yeah.
Right, John. This is a classic piece of media that neither of us has watched. We should both challenge each other to watch it. Say by Sunday, we'll watch it.
By Sunday? Okay.
Sunday.
What bonus episode of Arnie? Is that what you're saying?
No. Let's not get crazy here. Let's not get Dragon Soup here, okay? I'm just saying let's challenge ourselves to be better and watch more media.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I
Do a podcast over the ones you watch.
Genuinely, as a thing to that one guy in the comments, I do think our like repertoire is thin, and
Mine more
I've
so than
tried
most.
To challenge myself. I've tried to challenge myself to watch more stuff like that, and I don't know why I've never watched Thelma and Louise. I will watch it.
It's one of those things where everyone has blind spots. No
Absolutely.
one's going to have seen everything.
Yeah, but like there's blind spots, and then there's mine, which is like blind.
You've heard of TV, right?
Hectares.
Yours needs a little stick with a red tip.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, in recent months, a friend of mine started a film club kind of thing. So,
That's
like,
cute.
recently I've been watching like 2 movies a week, which is like way up compared to what I've watched in the past. Like, I'm experiencing culture lately.
That's more than I watch per week. I think I
Guy, there's these things called
every couple
credits.
Who needs
But actually, yeah,
credits?
after watching this episode, I do kind of want to watch Thelma and Louise. So yeah, I'm very much down for what.
Because it's
watching that
heavily
before Sunday.
referenced in a lot of things. I mean, like, a great example is fucking Wayne's World. It's literally referenced at it's one of the endings of Wayne's World.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah, Marge and Ruth in the cafe. Ruth's envious of Marge because all her husband ever did was eat, sleep, and drink beer, which Marge is not clear on what the point is there because, well, yes. But also he's been stiffing her on child support for 4 months.
I do find it interesting they have one dish between them as well. Kind of leading into that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't really know
Louise energy.
food. Yeah,
Pairing
yeah.
it. Do we ever meet Ruth's daughter?
Yes, because that she was a central core point of the episode in which we met Ruth.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Bart has a massive crush on her, yeah.
yes, of course, yeah, because she babysits and then she starts in the end, she dates
Jimbo.
Jimbo.
Anyway, Marge says there's a lot of good men out there. As if to illustrate this, Barney walks by and...
It's always Barney!
It's always Barney!
It's always Barney! This is so mean!
He would like to know from the server, could he throw up in the bathroom? He will buy something if he's allowed to do that, yes.
I think you're allowed to do that anyway if you buy something, so just go throw up and then buy something. Any of you guys thrown up in a public toilet?
Nope.
Nope, me neither.
Probably?
Not since I was a kid,
I don't
anyway.
know.
I've thrown up in a restaurant. I haven't thrown up in the toilet, though.
So you I don't know why you said that as if that's more normal. You just threw up in the middle of a restaurant.
Yep.
Were you a child?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've all...
But I didn't feel it coming. It was bad Parmesan,
erupted.
and my body just said no.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
No, when you ask those questions, the ages of 8 back don't count. 'Cause that's like saying, "Oh, have you ever shit yourself?" It's like, well,
I think
yeah,
I was
a
10.
baby. Right. Okay.
Okay, so it does count.
And
as
I
what
didn't
was
go to
established.
Pizza Hut again for
It does
another
count.
6 years.
Man, I want to try American Pizza Hut. There's so many places I'm going to try when I visit.
It's not as good as it
September.
used to be.
Nah, but that's the thing. Domino's over here is way better than Pizza Hut, in my opinion. But most Americans I've talked to have said the opposite.
Depends on where you live as well.
I think that's
That's
very
true
yeah.
of most franchise companies like
Yeah,
that anyway.
absolutely.
Anyway, Simpsons.
Anyway, Simpsons.
That's too
another
derailed.
time.
I'm sorry.
John is looking at the timeline, going, "Oh,
we are an hour
fuck.
in. We're not even halfway through the first episode. I'm sorry. We do need to pick up the pace.
Come on, bang, bang, let's go.
Marge comes home.
I'm locked
Homer
in.
tries to explain the whole vending machine situation. I had the fireman write him a note, which says that while he was being rescued, a lumberyard burned down.
Lumber has so many uses.
Anyway, Marge, although disappointed, says she's had a lovely time with Ruth Powers instead, and they're going to go out tomorrow night as well. Homer thinks she's spending far too much time with this woman.
It's 2 times now.
Nice, yeah.
Wait.
They did lean into him being very jealous in the first several seasons.
Yeah, that also
Yeah.
kind of like weirdly highlights the sort of vague, is this lesbianism, is it not kind of thing of like, oh, Homer's jealous because Marge is spending time with another woman kind of thing. It obviously does nothing with it. But...
Yeah.
I think it's in the similar vein to the Smithers jokes, in the sense that they couldn't actually make the joke,
No.
but they wanted to imply the joke.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Marge says it's hard for her to make friends, and we get another sort of Family Guy-ish flashback to
It's
prior
hard for her
hijinks.
to make friends because of Homer.
Yeah, this is, yes, very much so. We see her having some sort of like coffee gathering thing, tea and cakes.
It's like a little tea party.
That's the word. That's the word I'm looking for. Tea party. Yeah, a little tea party with 3 random women we've never seen before or since. Homer runs in waving a skunk, wearing a no fat chicks t-shirt, saying
I want those shorts, man.
the skunk has sprayed Homer and continues to spray Homer further.
Oh, look, he's doing it again.
And everyone runs off screaming.
The line delivery from Homer in this scene was so strange. Like, it felt fake. Obviously, I know it's fake 'cause it's a fucking cartoon. But do you get what I mean? It's just like the way he delivered it was like he was reading a script.
Right, yeah.
Forced.
It was very, forced. It was odd. Anyway, Simpsons.
Anyway, Homer doesn't want Marge to go out on Saturday. It's the special night. What's so special? Oh, well, it's a little show called Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman.
I'd watch that.
This is an unsatisfactory explanation because we cut to Marge getting ready for a night out. Homer's got a million questions about it. Where are we going? Don't know. When we'll be home? Not sure. Where are you going? Well, you already asked that.
Yes, a million questions.
Well, one gets the
Same two,
impression
over
he's
and
been
over.
pestering her for a while, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's Homer. It's just a snapshot of general life.
Poor Homer.
Anyway, Ruth rocks up and Marge is out. Gives him a quick peck on the top lip, leaving her lipstick on it.
It's a very oddly placed, if you think about like proportions. It feels weird to see that like on
Yeah,
his
I'm looking at
lip.
the picture now. It is a little
Yeah.
odd, yeah. Homer chases her out, saying she's deserting her children, but the children are cheering her on.
Rock the Casbah.
Rock the
says
Casbah. Again, like, what's
Something
the implication?
that a fucking 10-year-old would never say.
Yeah. And also, what are we implying that Marge is getting up to again?
Kids say the darndest things.
Well,
Lesbianism.
yeah, Homer indeed goes as a man's best friend.
Yes. I feel like Homer does see children on the same level as a family dog.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't ever really, like... There's instances where he does, but he does not humanize the children very often.
No. I don't think he's capable of humanizing people. I think he's just that stupid.
Touche.
Ruth rocks up in a convertible, in a Ford Thunderbird, I want to say. Is that right? Somebody who knows more about
Car.
cars? A car. It is. I did look at what car it was, but also, like...
A 4-wheeled car.
I will not say this about cars very often. I know you think I know more about cars than I do, but, like, it is quite a nice car.
It looks like a nice car.
I do not
like
care for
old school
cars.
muscle
It's quite a
cars.
nice car.
That's a nice car. I like this kind of old school cars.
Yeah, Marge is dressed up as, Marge, but nice night out. Ruth is shades at night,
Literally the
smoking,
Fonz.
leather jacket,
I'm
Full
fairly
on
certain
Thelma
she is just dressed as
Louise.
one of the Thelma and Louise characters.
I assume so, yeah. I guess we'll find out soon.
We will find out soon.
Anyway, Marge says she looks nice. Ruth says today's got nothing to do with nice. Today's all about, puts the cassette in, and sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows.
And
Yeah.
rainbows.
That's the wrong side of the tape. It's actually Welcome to the Jungle. Guns N' Roses.
It is also worth noting that while it is a sweater around her neck for this, it's actually a reference to probably the scarf that she wears in Thelma and Louise as well.
Okay,
Yeah, Thelma and Louise
cool.
was 91, so this
Mhm.
would be very like topical. As
Oh,
well,
this would be like,
reference.
yeah, 2 years. I feel that feels weirdly recent to be referencing quite so
Thelma
heavily.
and Louise was directed by Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah, I didn't know that one either.
Ridley Scott just does whatever the fuck he wants.
Clearly, absolutely, yeah. Anyway, they race off. Marge is not prepared for the acceleration. And we cut back into the house to see Homer trying to deal with the kids on his own. We get part of, like, a whole bunch of weird emasculation jokes throughout this. Like, this whole episode is doing a lot of things with gender, I would say,
Yeah.
just broadly speaking. Like, I mean, I guess from what I've read of Thelma and Louise, like, it does similar and was criticized for similar, but, like, it's very women's empowerment and male disempowerment. And yeah, this episode does the same. Like, most of the male characters either come off badly
They're kinda
or are
pathetic.
treated as, pathetic, yeah. So we've got Bart laid on the sofa saying, oh, Homer, we'll put your hair up in curlers, we'll give you a makeover. And he calls her Homina.
Yeah, those jokes fell off quick, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
like,
one of one of my favorite shows of all time is Scrubs, and I don't really want to go back and rewatch it because I know there's so many like lol gay jokes in it, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to ruin my favorite show.
the thing is, this doesn't even come across as gay. It's just simple
Emasculating?
emasculation, yeah. Which, like, I don't know, like, it's fine, to be honest. I can get behind this. That's funny to me.
Yeah. I think what I found more funny was Homer being excited for it, and then
Yeah, he takes him over.
I
He's
like
like, oh, that
those
would be
jokes.
a delight. And he's wait, hang on, no.
the emasculating jokes aren't funny to me, but men desperately trying to appear manly is funny. So like saying, "Oh, let's go, do our hair and have a natter," and the guy being like, "Oh, that sounds great. Wait, never mind. No, it sounds gay." That's funny. But just being like, "Lol, girl's name" is not funny. So
No, I
think-
don't mean the girl's name itself. Like, that's just
No, they told the line.
part
Is
of
what
the
I'm
whole
saying.
thing.
I think
Yeah.
they managed to do the joke pretty well.
But we get a couple more of these in rapid succession because Homer wants to go for a night out of his own, and he starts calling up folks. He calls up Lenny, who says he's watching the game, but
Shaving his wife's legs.
Good question. Wife? Question mark. Last I checked, Lenny was deeply, pathetically, terminally single.
Yeah, because
I don't know who this is that he's shaving the legs of, but he's shaving the legs of someone.
Well, it could just be a woman he's seeing. He's so desperate for love that he, dates a woman that emasculates him, kind of thing.
Maybe. We see he calls Burns somehow, which I love this. It's such, I don't know, like, part of me, like, barely even registered this scene on first watch, and then on sort of revisiting it, like, going through the script, I'm like, oh, wait, actually, that's such a good bit, and I love it, and I don't know why it didn't register, and I think it's just, like, part of me in my head is like, if Burns wants to lay on a pink plush carpet in his dressing robe, legs waving in the air, eating chocolates and listening to records and talking on his pink telephone, like, he can do that. That's fine. That's a thing Burns can just do. He's allowed.
I googled it as well. Lenny is apparently divorced.
Oh, okay.
So this could be that prior to that.
Maybe. Lenny has not been well fleshed out as a character at this point, so that's entirely possible, yeah.
Yeah.
Do we ever really see very many more scenes with Burns being softer like this? Or
yeah, it's a very common joke.
I think it comes up again. Yeah, it feels familiar to me, which is also maybe why it didn't register, because I was like, yeah, it's just a thing Burns does.
Yeah,
because my nostalgia goggles, because I haven't been watching through all these as much as you guys.
Yeah.
But my nostalgia goggles always remember it being more one-sided from Smithers towards Burns. Sometimes Burns would reciprocate slightly, and then it just is used for a gag to smack Smithers in the face.
Well, I think, because it's when Burns is in private that he does these kind of things. Like, a great example is literally the episode we did last time with Rosebud, of Mr. Burns being obsessed with a fucking teddy bear. They have those moments of Mr. Burns in private, even away from Mr. Smithers. Yeah, he has these, like, very weird, campy, kind of softy moments.
Yeah, Homer's final choice in this is Ned, which I don't know. This one, like, got me good, because he just picks up howdly doodly do, and then it just hangs up immediately. No conversation.
Do you think if Ned had just answered the phone, hello, Homer would have actually gone through with it? It was just the fact that he answered it in such a Ned way.
I don't think he would have.
No, you think he would have realized his mistake that quickly? Yeah. I mean, I disagree. I would love to hang out with Ned. Sorry, carry on.
I noticed I would love to hang out with Ned too. Ned seems like Mr. Rogers, but psycho.
He sounds chill as fuck.
As far as a weird thing that I've noticed in this, and I don't know if it's just something that I pick up because I'm from that era, but it is weird that Ned is the only one with a touch tone phone. Everybody else has a rotary phone.
Oh, interesting, right?
And I don't know if there's some implication in that or not, but
no idea.
Well, yeah, you could consider it with, like, Mr. Burns, because Mr. Burns is old, but then Lenny having one is then kind of weird. But Ned is surprisingly modern. Like, Ned's always the character that's shown to have the latest gadgets. So.
Oh, I'm just looking at the screenshots. Lenny's is touch-tone as well.
Is his touch-tone?
Yeah.
So it's just the joke that Mr. Burns is old.
Yeah, I think potentially.
Well, like, even the call center at the very beginning of the episode uses a rotary phone.
I think they're kind of probably perceived as being
just
a bit old-fashioned as well, right?
And they swap between it during the episode to episode as well, I guess.
I don't know. It's probably just animator like told to draw a phone, honestly, and it's just whatever came to mind first.
It's just like drawing the food for the tea party that we passed by. There's like that weird white stuff that just it looks like a scrumpled up napkin on the plate.
Yeah, they go back and forth on food as to whether they put any effort in or not.
Western animation food is always, like, so disgusting looking, and then you watch, like, a single anime. The anime is not even about food, but
it's just great.
Anytime there's, and you just watch it and you're just like, oh my fucking god, I'm so hungry.
God, the steak and Freerin, oh my god.
Watch any Miyazaki film and just watch the food in Ponyo. Holy shit. I would just, like, reach into the screen and steal it from those children.
Anyway,
Simpsons.
You heard it here. Gablin will steal food from children.
Fuck children. Screw them. They're stupid. The food is mine. They don't deserve it. They don't appreciate it. They just want their chicken nuggies.
Well, Homer reckons he can go have a good night all by himself. Lisa, however, unfortunately reminds him that the law does require him to have a babysitter. Homer suggests that Home Alone is a good example to adhere to, and if there's burglars, it'll just be humorous and entertaining.
Yeah, for the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Looks at camera.
I do have a technical question about this, because I'm kind of skimming through this as we're talking about it. Was this like a transition period whenever they were doing the animation on this? Because on the version that I watched, there's some scenes where you can almost tell the cell where it was drawn on.
These episodes look like ass, both of them. I will say that.
Yeah, but it feels like it's in the transition between methods.
Oh, interesting.
Because you can actually see shadows sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's like necessarily a transition between things. I did note there was one scene, I think it's in the cafe, like apparently the sky is like airbrushed in, like separately before they even started moving to like actual like computer animation. So it's
probably
there's a little bit of sort of mix of styles, but I don't think we're like quite moving in that direction completely yet.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, Bart's on Homer's side. They don't need a babysitter. But fortunately, Homer's got a little flashcard in his pocket that he carries around everywhere that says, do exactly the opposite of what Bart says.
Damn that card.
Don't give me the card. Here you go. No!
Homer just quick-witted enough.
It's fucking... that dude's voice, man. It's so good.
Anyway, Lionel Hutz just happens to be in the area, just going through his garbage.
I just happen to be looking for your garbage, and I heard that you need a babysitter.
His fee is $175 an hour. Homer pays $8 for the night. But he can have 2 popsicles out of the freezer.
3.
Hutz tries to negotiate to 3, but Homer, bullies him back down to 2.
Fine, but I get to keep this old bird cage.
He's still got it. He's got the bird cage.
Still got it. What do you think he did with that bird cage?
You don't want to know.
Oh God.
Anyway, that's our B plot sufficiently set up.
Oh God, yeah.
So back to Marge. They've gone to a bar which is SH the light is burned out T Kickers. Which you get just a moment.
So much about shot kickers.
Yeah, you get just a moment to process the sign before Marge addresses it as shot kickers, which is a good
really
gag.
Like
I like
the
that one.
Vehicle choices for the front of that. They're very diverse.
I didn't pay a lot of attention.
I think one of them might even be a reference to. Crap, I'm trying to remember I think it's Duke of Hazzard.
Oh yeah, there is. It's got like the number painted on the side. I'm looking at it now. Yeah, quite probably. Yeah.
And then you have the old like 60s, 70s truck. Well, trucks going on.
Yeah. It's very much a country kind of bar. We get a pan across scene. Folks playing music. We've got Willie's hanging out. He's a little confused as to why his chair is bucking wildly because he's sat on the rodeo bowl. Why is no one else's chair doing this?
Those are harder than they look to do, by the way.
I bet.
I have never tried one.
I think I lasted like 4 seconds.
I will try one on Route 66 and get back to you.
A couple of biker types rock up to Marge and Ruth and start hitting on Marge. They feel like getting lucky. Marge recounts how lucky she is, how she's got a great husband and children, and thanks him for reminding her of that fact. He presses further. He says he always gets what he wants. Marge says, no.
I said no. Oh, you said no? My apologies. Yeah, that was
Which is great. I think this is sort of riffing on a scene that is kind of a setup to much of what happens in Thelma and Louise, but I think in Thelma and Louise ends in slightly more murder than this. I don't think they could get away with Marge murdering someone this time around, so yeah, we play it off with that fun subversion of expectations. Homer, meanwhile, is off to Moe's, going for a night out on his own. Where else is he going to go? He's going to go to Moe's. Got to go
I
where
was thinking that the whole time, though, was just, why hasn't he just gone to Moe's?
Because it's not a library.
But he's like calling people and everything. It's just like, surely he would just go straight to Moe's. I know,
True.
again, set up for the joke. That's all it is. Purely, when I say why to anything in Simpsons, set up for the joke. That's the answer. But why don't you go to Moe's? Why don't you just go straight to Moe's?
Yeah, he wants to go where everybody knows your name. He bursts in. Nobody responds. Nobody even acknowledges his name.
One of the best Moe lines coming up as well.
Homer wants the darts. Moe says they're phasing out the games because people drink less when they're having fun.
It's so real, man. That's too real.
We come back to Lionel Hutz doing the babysitting. They're watching some sort of law procedural on TV. Lionel Hutz is criticizing the lawyers.
I'm going to criticize the food though on that scene.
Oh, I didn't look at the food in the scene. What's the food look like in the scene?
Food?
I mean, they've got like pork rinds light, which is haha, pork rinds. How can you make that light? But the crusty popcorn, I think, is what it's supposed to be. Doesn't have a T in it.
Oh, it totally doesn't. Well, it's okay.
Crusty.
Crusty
corn.
It's still a thing if you look at it through a modern lens. Crusty popcorn.
I mean,
Crusty. We're all about that crusty on this podcast.
That is unpleasant in my soul.
I mean, someone was romancing April in MonsterCon, right? Someone did that. That was one of you guys.
Yeah, you guys are calling that clussy.
Yeah, clussy. We're all about that clussy, baby.
Oh, this is the R-rated one.
Hell yeah.
Lionel Hutz thinks the idea of a lawyer wearing a belt is all Hollywood.
Yeah, sure, they have offices
building.
in high towers and have secretaries, and look, he's wearing a belt.
Marge's night out continues. They're off to an underground club. So change of scene here. What's this one? The Hate Box is what this one's called.
The hate box.
Yeah. Who do we see in here? We've got Otto shows up.
Should drink one of these smart drinks, and he drinks it.
Oh,
He's like,
you
I
wasted
wasted
my
my
life.
life.
Oh, yeah.
That's so grim, man. And then we get the mayor.
Yeah, Mayor
that's
Quimby
it.
shows up. Apparently he's here with his nephews, which Marge is like, oh, that's nice.
No matter
I
how you
don't-
read that line, it's creepy. He's either with his nephews, which is creepy, or he's with his nephews, which is creepy.
Yeah, I'm not sure I really understand what they were going for with that
No,
one.
absolutely not. I don't get it. I think it is just that Mayor Quimby is a hedonist. That is all you need to take from it.
Wikipedia specifically says that this is a reference to the Kennedy family.
Ah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm here with my nephews.
Homer's night out has taken him to the Quickie Mart, where he's just reading through a magazine called Jet, with Bleeding Gums Murphy on the cover.
Hell yeah.
Apu throws him out because it is not a library.
For some reason, I think, Jet Magazine was a thing.
Oh, was it actually? Not
It's an
aware of
actual
it.
magazine.
Right.
Then he was kicked out of the library for
Yep.
treating it like a Quickie Mart.
Yep.
Where'd he get the hot dog from? I don't know. But, he earned it.
He picked it up on the way, just brought it in. Or maybe there's a library that serves hot dogs somewhere. Sign me up.
That sounds great. I would go to the library so often.
Now, here's the question. Is that a bottle of ketchup in his hand? Or is it a cup?
Yes.
I think it looks like a cup, if I'm honest.
You guys are looking at the actual frames, you fucking nerds.
I am actually, yes. You
Same.
know how I go. I go through Frinkiac when I'm doing these things. You know I do.
Moving on.
And anyway, yeah, Marge and Ruth's night out takes them out to Nowheresville. Ruth wants to show Marge something. It's a gun!
Yep.
Duh.
You're not going to hunt me for sport, are you?
It makes me think of the Roger Rabbit gun. For some reason.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, really?
All chunky like.
Yeah, it's a thick gun.
Hand cannon.
Straight out of that Crusty. And then we get another, my husband joke. She says,
I'd never turn a gun on a human being. My husband,
my
on the other
husband on
hand.
the other case. Bang, bang,
Yeah.
bang, bang.
She shoots some cans off a wall, hands it to Marge, teaches her to shoot a gun. She fires multiple shots, and one of them does hit a can.
My cans, my antique cans.
We get an old man running out, who is a parody of Walter Brennan, apparently. Yeah, he's concerned about his antique cans.
Why'd he leave them out on the fence? Like, Excuse me, Mr.
That's where he displays them. That's his display fence.
They should have panned around and there was a sign that said antique cans this way. 10 cents admission.
Anyway, Ruth does say it's getting late. Maybe I should call it a night. Marge says it's only midnight.
It's only midnight. Call back.
Hey. And takes her to another place. Next location is the
place she used to go with Homer. It's the Springfield Hollywood
sign. Yes, yeah.
But yeah, again with the like weird undertones, she brings them to somewhere that is like significantly meaningful to her relationship with Homer. Maybe we're reading too much into this, but again, with the mad Thelma and Louise vibes of this episode, I don't think we are. I think there is meant to be a sort of like silent gag here, but yeah.
I do find it extremely neat, and this is a thing I know for sure is consistent, how they denote Marge's age by the length of her hair.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So the implication has never been cut, ever.
Whenever they do the flash forwards, like when she's like super old, it's not longer, it's the same length, just grey.
Yep.
But I think that might also be because she's hunched over because she's shorter. She's old.
Yeah. We got the big panorama over Springfield, to which my note is, reminder, Springfield population 30,000. That is a much bigger city.
My hometown has a population of 10,000. It's tiny.
I was going to say, as far as the layout of this goes, it does not seem that far-fetched that it could be 30,000.
You reckon?
I have lived in a town that was about 27,000, but it was really spread out with single residents. They did not want apartment complexes, and it was kind of like that.
Well, John says it all the time. Springfield is as big or small as it needs to be.
Yeah, that's true of a lot of.
It's also located wherever in America it needs to be, or Peru. It varies.
I mean, one of my notes, a couple notes down from here, is reassessing Springfield's location, but we'll get there. They do decide to call it a night when Marge notices quite a lot of black smoke coming from her chimney specifically. Good eye.
I did not realize, like, when coming back to this to like do this podcast, how pathetic Lionel Hutz is. In my mind, he was always just a lawyer character. I didn't really remember the gag of Lionel Hutz, but the gag is that he's just a fucking pathetic individual.
Yeah, but how far in did you start watching?
When I was a kid, I don't remember. Some of these episodes I've seen before, so I have,
You've seen him on syndication.
Yeah, exactly. So I never watched regularly. I just watched it when it was on TV because I was a 90s kid raised in the north of England. I watched what my parents watched and I fucking liked it.
That's true of 80s kids too.
I imagine it's just a millennial thing in general, especially like older millennials, which I am not. Because John's older than me. I'm like a mid-range millennial, I think. Are you an elder millennial?
I would consider myself an elder millennial, yeah.
All right, so I'm like mid-range, mid to elder. Anyway.
There are people in their 20s who still consider themselves millennials, and I'm pushing 40. No, I'm an elder millennial.
Bullshit, a 20-year-old's millennial.
No, I didn't say 20, no, I said in their 20s, like 27-ish. 27-year-olds are still like, yeah, I'm a millennial. I'm like,
I'm on the cusp between Gen X and millennial, so.
Blaney is the youngest millennial we know. Because he is a millennial, but barely. And he's 27.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's right on the cusp between where you define generations.
No, he's not 27.
Typically.
He's 30 this year.
Okay.
How old
still on the younger end.
Anyway, Simpsons.
After you hit about 30, you stop remembering how old your friends are. Just a heads up.
You just start waiting for them to die.
Oh my god. So we cut back to the Simpsons house. We cut back to the B plot to find out why so much smoke is coming from the Simpsons household, and Lionel Hutz is burning a suitcase full of everything. There's clothing, there's what looks like money, a lot of paperwork. Yeah, it's all going up in smoke. He's throwing it in the fireplace.
The person known as Lionel Hutz no longer exists. You're now looking at, and then insert the...
Miguel Sanchez.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Marge and Ruth decide that maybe they should head back now.
Or it's time for the naked talk show. I do not know what that is a reference to, other than maybe Howard Stern.
Yo, I know, again, we're like on Tangent City today, but have any of you actually seen the, it was the original host of Big Brother in England, and she does it's like a like, not a game show, but literally they interview, or you judge a person if you want to date them based on based on what they look like naked. I've genuinely forgot what it's called.
I know what you're talking about.
I think it's called Naked Attraction.
Oh no! Oh, that thing. Yeah. That's the one.
It is. I watched that. I don't think it even is the host of fucking Big Brother, whatever. But yeah, I watched that once, like at a hotel with my ex, and she woke up while I was watching. It's like, what the fuck? Are you watching porn? I was like, no, this was just on, and I'm so fascinated. It was so weird because the woman was like looking at these dudes' dicks and just being like, well, it's not really my side. I was like, I've never heard anyone be this honest on television. This is so weird. It's such a fucking trip. Anyway, Simpsons.
Homer rocks up at the Springfield Hollywood sign immediately
Just as
as
they
the women
leave,
leave. He wants to bash the replacement weather station that's been changed since he broke the old one.
But it's
It's
not
just
the
not the
same without
same.
Marge.
No fun without Marge. Introducing Chief Wiggum, who's going to be with us for the rest of the
Yes.
episode now. He's hanging out up here making moonshine, just making it up behind the sign for some
The
reason.
most comically unnecessary explosion in Simpsons. So
I
far,
love it.
I think.
You know I love a comical explosion. Yeah,
Everyone loves a comical explosion.
he's got his big XXX demijohn. He just once he's caught, he hurls it behind the bush, and it goes up, and it's great.
It feels
so
like it's
good.
really there to like reestablish the tone of the episode for the ending, like
Yeah.
third.
Yeah.
Mm,
It's to
yeah.
remind you that this is a comedy.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Homer's moping. Wiggum says he should just get one of those inflatable women, and
Make sure it's a
continuing-
woman, because I could tell you a time.
Yeah, once again, the sort of punching at men sort of gags throughout is, Wiggum's experience is ordering the wrong thing.
Yeah, it's... Wiggum gives Homer a very lascivious look in this scene, and I was very like, I don't know where this joke is going.
It didn't really go anywhere, because...
No, exactly, they just let it peter out.
Yeah, he gives
Yep.
Homer a ride home. Homer's lounging in the back of the cop car.
Yeah, he proper lounges.
By random chance, William happens to follow Marge and Ruth and notes that their left tail light's a little smaller than their right one.
Better
So
pull
he
him
decides
over.
to pull him over. Ruth does not want to be pulled over because the car is stolen.
Because she stole it from her ex-husband.
Yep. Wiggum's got himself an old-fashioned car chase and decides we need some car chase music. And
Sunshines, lollipops, and rainbows every day.
Yep.
Yet another callback.
But the
Yeah.
fact that they leave it long enough before Wiggum starts singing, and then they keep it going to a point where you're like, where is this joke going? And then Homer joins in.
I mean, it's also, it's a really good subversion of it, because you expect
Yeah.
it to just be a callback to the previous gag where he goes, sunshine, like, oh, wait, no, actually, here's the music. No, that's the music. That's actually
Yep.
just what Wiggum likes to do a car chase to.
I absolutely believe that, though. Absolutely believe that.
It's on brand.
It's on.
Yeah, no, that one lands really well. Yeah, it's such a good joke, that one. Yeah.
Wiggum is never not a highlight, though.
Yeah, this also gets us to like a referential sign as well right after that too.
Yeah,
This is very much just bang,
like,
bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, this
reference.
is literally just, if you didn't get what we were referencing, now we're referencing it really fucking
Overtly.
obviously.
Wait, which bit, sorry, you were talking about?
Entering Badlands, high-speed
Badlands.
chases use
Oh.
Diamond Lane.
Oh, yes, yeah.
It's like we are hitting it on the nose for this.
Even
joke
Homer
now.
on the megaphone is a reference, from what I recall.
Yes, I think so, yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, they're entering the Badlands. Wiggum calls it in and says we're in pursuit of two female suspects, one wearing a green dress, pearls with a lot of blue hair. Homer imagines some sort of alien,
weird-ass alien,
kind of thing. With a blue beard.
The car bounces, and that literally physically moves his imagination
Mm-hmm.
to make him
That's how his
think
brain
Marge.
works.
That's how
He
his brain
realizes
works.
it's Marge.
The crayon was jostled.
Exactly.
She's become a crazed criminal just because he didn't take her to the ballet. William says that's exactly how Dillinger got started. Marge tries to talk Ruth down, but no, this is a matter of principle. Ruth is not prepared to let the deadbeat win again, so we're on the chase. Marge wants to say something reassuring but non-committal and sort of resigns herself to the Marge noise.
How very Marge.
Ruth says she'll let Marge out next time they lose the cops, but Marge doesn't think they'll be so easy to lose. Ruth turns the lights out.
The lights off. It's a ghost car! There's so many ghost cars on this road. Hold me. Only if you hold me.
Coyotes howling in the background.
Very, again, like, more emasculating humor.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. So they make it to a diner. Ruth says you can call a cab in there. Apologizes and like, well, we did have some fun. Marge says everything before a high-speed chase was lovely.
Yep. I always love that Marge's use of language. Like, she didn't say it was a good time. She didn't say it was fun. She says lovely because she's like a grandma.
So Marge goes in to make a call, but once in the diner, she sees quite a lot of Thelma and Louise's all doing some Thelma and Louise shit inside. Just loads
I hate
of...
it when the waffles stick together. That's what good waffles do.
Yeah, there's like 3 different groups of women all talking about sticking together, and the waffles are also sticking together. And Marge realizes that maybe sticking together is something she should do as well.
Hell yeah.
We hear a siren approaching, and everybody in the diner flees. Marge heads out, hops back in the car, tells Ruth she's coming back along. It's an important part of friendship. Does not really have time to finish the thought because they need to get going. Yeah. We see that the sirens are, in fact, just Kearney, who apparently pulling some sort of repeat prank on this place where he cycles along wearing a siren on his head and scaring off his extremely Thelma and Louise-based clientele.
You know, you've got to have a niche.
Yeah, it's very specific niche, but like he's got it.
Everyone has their hobbies.
Shame his clientele isn't exclusively driven away daily by a kid with a siren.
There's a lot of Thelma and Louises out there. That's the real commentary on society.
Back to Homer and Wiggum. They're cooking engine block eggs. Where did Wiggum get eggs from? I don't know.
He's always got food on him, man. That's just a fact.
Yeah, I'm surprised he doesn't have like a fanny pack or something somewhere with food.
He says if we can keep these down, we'll be sitting pretty, which like is dialogue that sounds like they're just stranded in the desert, and like not for a second. They just stopped in the desert. They didn't.
Yeah, they
like,
could just keep driving.
Could just go somewhere.
Could have gone home.
I mean, also, whilst I mentioned desert, and that reminds me, this is also like back to where is Springfield? Because like they're driving through like Monument Valley here, like which is Arizona, right? Question mark,
Arizona.
I think. Yeah. We get to the Grand Chasm later, which is also Arizona. If it's the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Who knows? Not Peru today, anyway. If nothing else.
Don't worry, it'll be filled with garbage eventually.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh god, the fact that that's a real consideration that he's trying to do is fucking terrifying.
Wait, what? No, don't tell me that's the thing Trump wants to do.
Yeah, he genuinely put that forward of sectioning off a small part of it to throw rubbish in.
He wants to use the Grand Canyon as landfill.
Not all of it.
Fuck me. I'm like, we talk about the Simpsons being prescient, but that's too much. That is too much. I've not heard this one.
I don't know if he's actually trying to push it, but he did mention it in passing kind of thing. He said it's something we should consider. But he says a lot of things.
There is a running theory I've heard floated a few times that Trump's beliefs are entirely predicated on the last thing he heard. And he must have just watched this episode recently.
Well, I think we talked about it on one of the recent episodes that genuinely what they used to do is if Trump was working on something and would take a break to go eat something, which was very frequent, they would just then take it off his desk and he would forget about it. That was genuinely how we stopped
I
his
believe
first
it.
term.
I believe it.
That was genuinely how we stopped his first term being like his second.
Right.
Was
Okay.
we just took the stuff off his desk so he wouldn't remember it.
Yeah. Okay.
Senility's a bitch.
Anyway, back to our B plot. Bart and Lisa have fallen asleep on the sofa. So is Lionel Hurts. They're a little surprised that their parents haven't come home last night.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
Lionel Hutz is here to protect. He's here to take care of them. They wake him up and he tries to fucking knife whoever's
He
stealing.
waves
his
a knife
stuff.
around and says, "Hey, this isn't the YMCA." Cool. That's Lionel Hurts. Back to the car chase.
Yeah, they show that on the news there's a car chase and Lisa says something so fucking Lisa that like even Bart was like, "Shut the fuck up, Lisa."
Is that this bit, or does that come a little bit later on?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think it comes up in a little bit.
It is a little bit later on. Yeah, we come straight back to the car chase. A bit that like made me think I'd tuned out a bit, and I had to go back and rewatch this because I was like, wait, did I miss a scene? At this point, Homer and Wiggum are chasing Marge. They weren't doing that last time. They were
they just,
cooking
like,
eggs on the
immediately-
engine and completely ignored Marge and Ruth the last time we saw them.
Homer tried to tell Wiggum.
Oh yeah, that's true.
what
Yeah,
he
they go
saw,
past.
but
Homer
Wiggum
goes,
was
"That's
like,
them." Wiggum says, "Quiet, I can't hear the eggs."
Yeah, I
Yep.
can't hear the eggs.
Yeah, bit of filler from the B plot, and then cut to car chase back on for question mark reasons.
And now we have the special bulletin.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
Wiggum's got to give his location in, which is on a road,
I'm seeing
asphalt.
asphalt.
There are
bushes,
trees, shrubs.
I'm underneath the Earth's sun now.
That is particularly impressive and probably could be used to locate him quite accurately, it should be
Yeah.
noted. But, yeah. Some pointers from Wiggum there, yeah. Now we have a special bulletin, yeah. We've just received word of a high-speed desert chase because, police chases are always televised on the news. Half of Springfield is chasing them now.
Yep.
Suspects identified as Ruth Powers and Marge Simpson of Springfield.
Yep. That's when Lisa says her fucking wanky Lisa shit.
Lisa says, "I always knew someday Mom would violently rise up and cast off the shackles of our male oppressors."
Oh, just fucking stomp on her head.
I was more annoyed by Bart's response, which is just, "Oh, shut your yap," which is just like, oh, you had to give Bart something to say, didn't you?
Yep, he has to
No.
be that counter to it for some
In
reason.
this moment, I'm on Bart's side. Fucking
No,
shut up, Lisa.
no, his line is completely unnecessary here.
Nah.
And Hutz is enjoying his popsicle.
He is,
mean,
yeah,
yeah.
he was allowed 2 popsicles. He's
Hutz is
enjoying
living
one.
his best life, man.
I
Well,
didn't
not
even
his
particularly
best
pick
life.
up on that, but
He's
yeah.
enjoying a life.
Someone else's life.
It's the best he's had in a while.
Probably.
Anyway, Ken Brockman has opinions and is not afraid to share them on the news, as is, an anchorman's want.
Yep, and then
He-
they literally have a intermission screen.
Yeah, they've
of
got
when
like
Ken
a
Brockman
technical
loses his
issues
mind,
card, which is just Ken Brockman with like a cuckoo coming out of his head.
wearing a straitjacket.
Very well detailed, though.
It happens a lot.
They've had to use that card a few times, yeah. Anyway, the chase is nearing the state line. They're only 2 miles away. If they can make it over the state line, they're gonna be okay. Unfortunately, coming the opposite way is every policeman in
Fucking
Springfield.
horde.
That's it. Ruth gives up here. A single mother can't win in a man's world.
Marge fucking yanks the wheel and then is like,
Yeah,
sorry,
she's got other
I should
ideas.
have asked.
Yeah, it veers them off the road. I'm sorry, I should have asked first.
Yes, I'm so
Love
sorry.
it.
I took away your moment. I do apologize.
But now they really are going to make it. Wiggum says
How
they're
does
headed...
that mean they make it? Why did Ruth not think of that?
Don't worry about it.
Whatevs.
Because there are 2 minutes left in the episode, and don't
And
worry
they just
about
need
it.
to move on and fill it with lines.
Anyway, they are headed straight for the Grand Chasm. Homer says they're going to drive right into it just to teach us men a lesson. It's all his fault.
I like that he mentions gravy bathtub.
Yeah. I saw it when he starts apologizing to Marge. He says, "I'm sorry, I tried to make gravy in the bathtub."
Yeah, he's leaning out the window of the car, shouting through the bullhorn. Fun little bit of trivia on that particular line, or these lines. Dan Castellaneta did in fact record them through a bullhorn for authenticity.
What a guy.
Great.
So he's sorry about a bunch of stuff, but ultimately he's just sorry for the whole marriage up to this point, really. Marge realizes she is lucky to have him. He says, don't drive into the chasm. They both realize they are about to drive into the chasm. They hadn't realized this yet.
They didn't realize.
Chasm?
Because obviously, that's, again, it's like a subversion. Because, yes, I haven't seen it, but I know the fucking ending.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
They're deliberately doing it. That, you know, like, Thelma and Louise are deliberately making this choice. Because, again, like Homer says, they're driving into the chasm to teach these men a lesson. But, yeah, the joke is that they didn't realize it, which is funny.
Well, they slam on the brakes and come to a stop. Homer and Wiggum do not do quite so successfully. Hurl themselves off into... Also, just while we're talking about Grand Chasm, just to divert things even more than I shouldn't, what happened to Springfield Gorge? Like, how many...
Why not just reuse Springfield Gorge?
How many holes in the ground does Springfield have?
As many as the plot needs. It needs all the holes.
Springfield is as big or small as it needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're doing Thelma and Louise, and Thelma and Louise is the Grand Canyon, so they're riffing on the Grand Canyon to do the Thelma and Louise thing. But you already had a gorge!
Springfield Gorge is a reference to the Grand Canyon.
I know, yeah, absolutely, yes, exactly, yes.
So they could have just used Springfield Gorge. They only, and this is, I do not think they thought of this, but the only reason you couldn't use Springfield Gorge is because it has a forest around it.
Oh, maybe.
That is the only reason I can
think of. Would anybody other than, like, us pick them up on that shit?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think they would. Anyway, Homer and Wiggum hurl themselves into the chasm, but are safely landed by a big, steaming, soft pile of landfill.
Yay. And they were protesting it. Stupid environmentalists.
Homer's so overjoyed he could kiss the landfill. He does kiss the landfill repeatedly.
No, I hated it so bad. No, don't do it.
But he's repulsed by the first 3 kisses. The 4th one tastes like pizza, though.
The fourth one, he thinks his bit was pizza. Weirdly enough, that does make... Yeah, it does make me want pizza.
I wonder if there would be a good string pull on it by then, though. The cheese pull.
Oh, probably not by the time it's in landfill.
Why do you do this? Why am I friends with you?
Well, I mean, there wouldn't be much of a string pull so much as sort of a biofilm pull, but, you know.
It kind of drips afterwards.
I'm gonna die now. Goodbye.
Anyway, we cut to our outro, which is a parody of Dragnet. So all of the criminal suspects in this whole thing get their verdict. We get, I forget the name of the commentator. Who the fuck's the commentator on this?
It's me.
It is
I did it.
George Fenneman, who is actually the commentator who did the outros on Dragnet. They literally just got the guy who did them to talk about. Ruth Powers had her charges dismissed because her ex-husband hired Lionel Hutz. Lionel Hutz, aka Miguel Sanchez, aka a Korean name that I'm hesitant to try to pronounce, was paid $8 for his 32 hours of babysitting. He was glad to get it.
Yeah.
Marge had to pay 50 cents to replace the cans she shot, and $2,000 in punitive damages. And Homer was remanded to... Why was Homer here? But Homer was remanded to custody of the United States Army for extensive testing.
Callback. Homer cheers, and then it ends.
And then we get a rearrangement of the credits. We get a new different Simpsons theme, which I guess is supposed to be Dragnet. I've never watched Dragnet. I don't watch things, you know I don't. But yeah, it's good. I like it. I enjoy this version.
Yeah, it's fun.
And that is an episode. What did we think?
Good enough episode as well. I think it was good.
Yeah, again, it's one of those episodes that I enjoyed a lot more once I started talking about it. I think it is an above standard episode. It is fun. Wiggum is the standout, but he always is. I just don't know if the longer episodes have always been like deserving of their runtime, because there were a lot of bits in this episode that just kind of dragged a bit. Like the jokes were just held on to a little longer than they needed to be.
Like you could have cut a minute out of this.
Yeah,
there was a minute of padding in this that didn't need to be here.
100%.
Like absolutely.
Maybe
Yeah.
they put the padding in because they didn't want to make a longer intro.
Maybe.
as opposed to the other way around.
Maybe
Are
it really
He's
did
suggesting
fire
my
the-
theory that they fired the chalkboard gag guy is correct.
Yes.
Like, shit.
Speaking of which, we never did I don't think we did the couch gag, which is the family run through the wall and it just shatters and it's a painting of a couch.
Lol.
Just to tie up that loose
Setting
end.
up the Looney Tunes reference in the next episode.
Oh, yeah, totally is. I enjoyed this episode. I had fun with this one. I thought this was a good one.
Speaking
I
of
had a good
setting
time.
things up, I am disappointed they didn't reference back to this episode in the next episode.
Yeah.
with,
I don't necessarily
Smithers.
know. I mean, hard to know the details specifically, but like the order they're broadcast is not necessarily
they're
always
not
the order
always
they're made in either.
in succession. Yeah.
Yeah, and let's give it some scores out of Homer, maybe.
I give it an antique cans out of Homer. I'd say 50 cents is about right value.
Oh, okay. Al?
I give it a Dragnet out of 10. It was good.
Out of 10? You're measuring it out of 10?
Damn.
Yeah?
Some
Okay.
fucking renegade here.
We got to throw numbers in there sometimes. You can't always use amorphic philosophies and principles.
How dare you try and tell me how to amorphic?
I gave it a shot kickers out of Homer because it was just a straightforwardly good time.
Yeah, that's fair. In terms
Did it
of
have anything to
society-
say about society? Yeah.
In terms of society, I think this is an episode that a lot of people love to think is really deep. I can imagine that like some of the more hardcore Simpsons fans really do think this is like a super deep episode. When in reality, I don't think the episode was trying to say anything about society. It was just riffing on things that were trying to say things about society. You know, Thelma and Louise, which isn't a bad thing because it inspires people to go and watch those deeper shows. You know, like it genuinely has made me want to finally watch Thelma and Louise. There wasn't a reason I didn't watch it. You know, I wasn't waiting for Simpsons to tell me to watch it, but it was just one of those things that I was just like, I've never been in the situation where I needed to watch it. So I think riffing on it has worked, you know? So no, I don't think
fair.
anything to say about society is basically my point.
No. I mean, I thought it definitely had some fun riffing on sort of like gender roles and things. Like we've got Marge and Ruth sort of in the empowered female role, and like again, all the men are either pathetic or emasculated in
But
various
again,
orders.
is that not just Thelma and Louise?
It is. All of that derives from Thelma and Louise in the first instance. Yeah, like they're not doing that originally. That's not like the intent. It's just it is.
The intent
entirely...
wasn't to make a feminist episode of Simpsons.
No. But But is it a bad thing that they did? I quite like that they did. I thought this was a cool episode.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
It's kind of a thing where what came first, chicken or the egg in this situation? Because did they want to make a Thelma and Louise episode to make this social commentary, or did they make this social commentary because it was a Thelma and Louise episode? You have to realize it was years before that Thelma and Louise released. So,
only 2 years.
Yeah,
2 years.
Yeah, it is years, plural. Yeah, you are correct. Technically correct. The best kind of correct.
I think most of the Marge-centric episodes are in some way kind of feminist in very loose ways, but it's never they're never doing it because they are trying to be feminist. They're doing it because they want to do a Marge-centric episode, which means they have to change the style of comedy because it's Marge-centric, and that changing of style of comedy usually results in something that could be considered feminist. But I never think it is the writer's intention to be feminist. Not a bad thing. I just don't think this episode is as deep as some people might think it is. That's all. Is what I'd say.
No, that's totally fair. Yeah. Anyway, we have talked for almost 2 hours about 20 minutes or so of TV. We should probably move this along.
Let's fucking blitz it because this episode is very. This episode.
I've got a lot less to say about this
one.
one.
I've got a lot less to say about this episode.
Can I get away with saying that this one predicted Expedition 33? Because, like, during the opening credits, there's a 33 on some kind of weird white fluffy thing in the background.
You can argue that case. I will not know what you're talking about, but
you can make that statement. I'll support you on it as well.
It really isn't, but I did find it funny, and it just kind of stood out to me as just being some kind of like weird. I noticed this because it's stupid shit.
You're just 33 pilled right now. That's all it is.
I can't take a screenshot of it because it's on Prime. Damn it!
Okay, so Bart's Inner Child is episode 7 of season 5 and aired on November 11th, 1993.
Yep.
Pope John Paul II was hospitalized for 2 days for a fractured shoulder.
Too much wanking.
And Richard Nixon's White House Chief of Staff dies at age 67.
Also too much wanking.
And Meatloaf continues to dominate the charts on both sides of the Atlantic.
Definitely too much wanking.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, Meatloaf. Yeah, definitely.
His name is Meatloaf. Of course,
What do you think the meat is in Meatloaf?
What do you think the loafing is? Duh.
He's gotta knead that dough.
Oh. Isn't it dough in meat? No, we can't do this. Let's Simpsons.
Simpsons.
Fuck you, Dragon Soup.
This wasn't my fault. No, bullshit. This wasn't my fault. Fuck you.
We can blame it on you, though.
I was blaming on Dragon Soup, not you. Couch gag is there is a really, really comically fat man, even more comically fat than Homer on the sofa.
This is a reference to someone. I just can't remember the name. I cannot place the name, but it is a reference. It is a reference to a specific person. I just can't remember who.
It is not noted on Wikipedia or Wiki Simpsons. If it is, I do not know.
Okay, I may be wrong. It is often the case.
Beats me. Anyway, yeah, they squeeze in next to the big guy.
It's very polite. Yeah, there's just a big fat dude on the couch, and they're just like, "Do you mind if we just? Sorry, I just want to. I'm just gonna get it right there. Yeah, okay, right, cool, thanks. Yeah.
And it's quick too.
As long as you're comfortable."
We open around the dining table, as so many Simpsons scenes are set. Bart's pulling faces at Lisa. Lisa's not amused by this. She asks the parents to do something, but Marge tells Homer to speak to Bart. He's busy pulling faces at the animals.
But yeah, dog and the cat.
They're entranced by it for some reason.
Yep.
No, man, like, as someone who's had dogs over their life, animals just are entranced by what you're doing as a person, especially if you're, like, looking at them. Like, if you make eye contact with an animal, it's rare that the animal is the one that breaks eye contact, because they're like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
What is wrong, human?
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway, Homer neglects his parenting to read the newspaper instead. He's interested in the free section.
Why are you reading the free section? There's never anything good in there. Oh my god!
Trampoline!
I'm so happy we finally got to this bit. I
didn't know this was in this episode. Yeah.
Trampoline, man.
Trampoline. Yeah. One of those words that just lives in the psyche of a generation, I think.
He said, what now? Don't come home with any more crutches. Why is he coming home with fucking crutches, man?
Because they were in the free section.
That's fair. I'd take free crutches if they were offered.
I am sad that we didn't get to see his crutch collection, but...
Hell yeah. Antiques worth 50 cents.
There are a lot of background visual gags in the Trampoline advert there.
Trampoline.
Let's see if I can find it, because Simpsons Archive has a pretty good extensive list of them. Elegant dining room set from Chippendale Antiques. Feather pillows, soft like new.
Flamethrower Vietnam era.
Takes regular unleaded. Fat Boy Bomb, call Herman. Grateful Dead tickets, Capital City. Gravedigger's Lantern. Good News Bible, ask for Ned. And something I missed, even like freeze framing it, the Simpsons Archive reckons it mentioned a Gilbert and Sullivan manuscript original draft of HMS Pinafore.
Ah, callback.
There's a callback.
That's a proper callback. It's rare that you get the between episode callbacks.
Noted in some of the other columns that I guess were not free, someone is selling a Learjet for $20.
That's a good deal.
That's a pretty good deal. An itchy and scratchy mug for $4,000.
Yes.
20 gallons of iodine for $10.
And I'm the one that's fucking delaying this episode.
And you can have a camel which can be sacrificed for $1,000, or you can trade it for a chandelier.
What does that mean? It's like,
I don't know.
You don't get to decide what you do with this camel. You have two options.
Yeah, that's the
you
deal.
get to choose. It's a Twitch poll.
You get to choose one of those two options: sacrifice it or chandelier. Duh.
Chandelier always.
I think you get the camel, you have to provide a chandelier. Anyway, Homer goes for the trampoline.
Trampoline.
Runs out of the house, tires screeching, down the street, slams into another car, flipping it onto its side. Genuinely expected that to be Hans Mole Man. Sadly was not. It was just a car.
That trampoline is mine! I regularly say that to people when I'm in a hurry.
What, the trampoline is mine?
Well, not to people, to myself in my head. But, like, if someone's, like, in my way when I'm, like, speed walking through somewhere, in my head I'm like, that trampoline is mine!
Anyway, Homer arrives at the address, rings the bell, and just
gets sprayed with salsa
it's
water.
sprayed with, water in the face. A little surprised by this, he tries it again to see if he gets a different reaction and gets squirted again. This time he goes for it again a bit more intentionally and just holds the bell down and sprays his whole head.
I love the line from Krusty that the salsa ain't free. I love that like Krusty is a clown, but he's a cheap clown.
He's got a lot of shady stuff like that he does though, so it's really on brand.
Yeah.
Continuity error. Krusty lives in an apartment, not in a house, but this is Krusty's house, yes.
Maybe he has both.
I imagine that Krusty on and off has money, basically, and so he on and off has a house.
I could see him renting the house out and being a slumlord.
Also,
that fits his brand a lot because he's very about the money.
He's a very much a piece of shit.
Anyway, Homer wants to know what's up with the trampoline. The excuse is that he doesn't want it anymore. He's phasing out the tumbling in his act for dirty limericks.
There was once a man from Venus.
There was once was a man named Enos. Yeah.
For some reason, this segment felt like it would have fit better as a lead into some kind of Halloween episode, like a cursed trampoline or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like it kind
of vibe.
That is what they do with the episode. Like, it is very much implied that this trampoline just injures everybody who uses it, but also like we just do not deal with this at all.
This is
it's
another
just
episode where the intro/B plot is more interesting than the A plot. The idea absolutely. Of a cursed trampoline, way funnier than what we get.
I mean, it's not. It doesn't even feel like a B plot so much as it is just. It's just one of those bait and switch setups to the whole thing that The Simpsons loves to do.
Yeah, you remember the episode where Homer oogles Maud's boobs in the intro. This was like season 2. And that felt like that was going to be the show. That was going to be the episode, but it isn't. It's just the intro to set up Marge's episode.
Yeah.
And again, it was like that was funnier and more interesting than what we got. And I feel like it's another one of those things. Again, we had a B plot with like the A plot is Lisa, I think, and then the B plot is just Homer doing something weird. I genuinely can't remember the specifics, but it was one of those like it's happened a couple times where the side plots or the intro gag is just better than the episode.
Anyway, we cut to Bart's bedroom where he's just petting Santa's little helper. Homer flies past the window.
Hey, boy.
Repeatedly. Hi, son. Hi, son.
My dad would do something like that. I know for a fact my dad would do something like that. You know what? I'm fairly certain my dad did do stuff like that when I was a kid.
Bart rushes outside to find that Homer is bouncing up and down on a trampoline in the garden. Lisa says this one gesture almost makes up for years of shaky fathering.
Shut up, Lisa.
Hang on, let me check my notes, because I'm pretty sure incoming Auntie-Lisa Matt comment was a line I wrote down there, yeah.
Predictable.
Although, to be fair, she has a point. He has had years of shaky fathering.
Yes.
He always comes through.
Sometimes through the wall.
Oh, yeah.
No, that was last couch gag. Anyway, we cut to them all having a good old bounce on the trampoline.
Again, like with the not knowing where the episode was going, I thought the next bit of this gag was that they then do convince Marge to join them on the trampoline. You know, because it's like at first it's just Homer, and then it's the kids, and then Marge comes out and bees on Marge about it, and then they're like, "Come on, Marge, just live a little," and then it's all 4 of them on the tram, but that's not where it goes. It's just Marge complaining, kind of. Again, it's deliberately to set up what comes next, but she complains, then Homer says, I have a plan. I'm helping speed through this episode. Crazy.
Thank you.
Homer says he has a plan, and then he envisions a fucking theme park that is shit, and then we get another one of those ones that shared a lot, the clip of Milhouse coming out of the mattress fort.
Mattress,
and I genuinely thought there was more to this bit, though, because Milhouse comes out and says, it smells weird in there. Homer just says, no, it doesn't. Then it ends. I don't know why. I thought there was, like, more lines after that, but there isn't. So it just says, no, it doesn't. And then...
I don't feel like I've ever seen that one shared out of context, so I wasn't as familiar with that one.
It was another one of those ones that before we started the show, I was following the Simpsons clip Twitter account.
But I like that this is a callback, because this implies that Homer followed up on a different free advert from the newspaper, because they're advertising free mattresses from the men's shelter, free used soiled mattresses from the men's shelter, and he's bought those, or taken those, to make Adventure Fort, or whatever it is.
Yep.
And are we going to just skip over that he says that the trampoline will double the value of their house?
Oh, yes, he did.
Like it's not a piece of thing, it's not something that you would just take with you. How long until we get we've already had the outdoor pool episode, haven't we? Has that happened? That was
No, not yet.
No, not yet. Yeah, because that's another one of those ones that's like, why is Homer obsessed with inviting loads of children to pay to be in his house?
Because it was 1993 and
we hadn't like experienced enough horrifying things that when you made this joke, your mind didn't just immediately go to somewhere dreadful.
Yeah, when did Jimmy Savile news come to light?
Yes.
Probably a major turning point in society's approach between
I remember my
adult males and children.
Being genuinely heartbroken by that. Like they were genuinely like so upset about it because like my mum grew up like being a fan of Jimmy Savile, and I was like, oh wow, because the thing is, I was surprised by Rolf Harris. When I saw Jimmy Savile, I was like, I am not surprised in the least. I'm actually amazed that no one found out sooner. Like, look at him. Look at Jimmy Savile. Even in his heyday, dude looks like a fucking nonce. I hope he died painfully.
Fucking hell, 2011 apparently, like, the Newsnight investigation was.
Yeah.
That's so recent. I thought it was further back than that. No.
I think
I
think that's why our generation has such a doomer attitude, is because it's surprising how quickly the world has gone to shit.
And how readily available the information about things going to shit is.
Yeah. Well, that's
before like the 80s, it was like, yeah, you'd hear about it on the news sometimes, but you weren't bombarded 24/7 just online doom scrolling into it.
There's an essay you can read somewhere that is about the fact that, no, murders have actually gone down. It's just we report on them way more.
Yep.
Like
that's true for all.
That's true.
No, exactly. Yeah, but it's a thing. It's like because of the news, we think the world is in a worse state, but it isn't. Fucking Simpsons.
That said, it has actually been spiking back up in the U.S.
Of course it has. The U.S. is a fucking shit.
You've got a criminal president.
I know.
Yeah, you have literally a felon rapist as a president. Simpsons. It's not me.
Simpsons. Fuck me. So everybody does in fact turn up to have a go on the trampoline.
To pay to hang out in Homer's Mr. Simpson's back garden.
It's not just children. Otto's here as well.
I don't trust.
Who's technically an adult?
Technically. He fucking bails. I genuinely winced at Otto hitting the side.
I mean, it's all pretty grim. Like, I mean,
it looked
trampolines
brutal.
are bad anyway. Trampolines are bad for injuring people at the best of times, but like, yeah, this is some grim shit. Like, Otto, like, dislocates his shoulder with some horrible noises.
I don't like watching people fall over. I used to find it funny, but now I don't like watching people get hurt. It's not funny to me anymore.
Wendell does something to his arm. Ralph bites his tongue. Rod and Todd.
Yeah, Ralph gets off like really like not that bad. Is that kind of the joke that obviously Otto literally like basically breaks his back, Wendell cracks his like leg open kind of thing, and then all that happens to Ralph is he bites his tongue because he's an idiot?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, I just kind of explained the joke to myself. Thanks, me.
Rod and Todd want the Lord to catch them as they bounce back and forth until eventually you can see it coming because they bounce like 3 times.
It's a proper cartoon, like, face plant, you know, like the legs go straight out the arms.
Straight
and then they top
into
it
each
off
other,
with wide. What did we do to make God angry?
You did it.
You did it.
Eventually, we get to a point where Homer's telling them, like, if you get injured, you have to move aside and let someone else go. Marge tells him to put a stop to it.
Given. Zero fucks given.
We get a shot that is a parody of Gone with the Wind, as the camera pans across the suddenly extremely large Simpsons garden, and it's just like it's a battlefield of dead soldiers.
How many of us have seen Gone with the Wind?
I have not.
I have not. John, are we uncultured?
I am deeply uncultured, but like you knew this.
I think you're more cultured than I am, just not in films.
I've seen less Arnold Schwarzenegger movies than you.
This is true.
Which, you know, that's the yardstick of culture, right?
That's the yardstick of culture. Do you know what? I genuinely want to buy that now and send it. I want to bring that to you when I come visit. It's just the yardstick of culture, and then at the end is like a carving of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What?
Simpsons.
Anyway, Homer is finally convinced that he should get rid of the trampoline. He tries to take it back to Krusty. Krusty whips out a shotgun and tells him to keep driving.
Just keep on driving. Why didn't he just try and why did he try to take it back to Krusty? Why don't you just take it anywhere? Take it to a landfill.
Well, he got it. Giving it back to the guy he got it from. It's like returning a purchase.
Yeah, I definitely think that the writers wanted to write an episode about a cursed trampoline, but maybe they couldn't fit it in the Treehouse of Horrors because they thought the last ones they did were so good. Wink.
Yeah, possibly.
And they were just like, well, let's use some of the scripts that we had to do an
intro.
Yeah,
maybe.
Because it feels too, like, this trampoline is clearly cursed. Like, that is the vibe. But they just don't.
They never say it explicitly, yeah.
Yeah, it just isn't the plot, and it's very weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very animated. I'm proper gesticulating. You guys can't see it, but I'm going for it.
Damn dragon soup.
Dude, my eyes are so wide.
Anyway, Homer decides he will get rid of the trampoline by throwing it down Springfield Gorge / the Grand Chasm, unclear which. It's set up in a very Looney Tunes fashion. You can see it
Wile E.
coming.
Coyote. It's
totally.
absolutely Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote. It's literally the same art style for the trampoline falling down. I'm fairly certain this is just a bit from Wile E. Coyote. I'm fairly certain the same thing has happened with the trampoline.
Or it gets a cursed trampoline.
No. The shot of the trampoline bouncing on the rock and then flying back up. I'm willing to bet money that happens in a Wile E. Coyote episode. And
they do it with an anvil.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of shots of stuff falling down. It's always the same chasm. It's always the same shot of whatever it is falling. But I'm fairly certain they do it with a trampoline at one point. I'm fairly certain.
Anyway, the trampoline bounces back up, lands on Homer, pins him down into the ground. Like force of the springiness just
if
pushes
this was a
him
cartoon, the canyon would break, the rock would break off right now.
Yeah, it's weird combination of like subverting expectations whilst also lampshading the joke because it doesn't happen. Lampshading?
Never heard that. No. I'm sure you said it, and I've just ignored it.
I probably have, and I'm familiar enough with using it as a term, but I can't for the life of me remember the origin of it.
It's one of those ones where you can't like explain it, but you know how to use it.
Yeah. It's like there's some concept of like, oh, if you can't hide something in a scene, like you play with it as a point of humor by calling attention to it, and like the original was like, oh, you hang a lampshade on it, you're lampshading it.
Okay. Yeah, and then, obviously he sits there for ages, and you're kind of wondering where the joke is going, and he's just, I'm hungry, snap.
Yeah, it just cuts to night, and the wolves are howling in the background.
Simpsons love the bait and switch. They love the bait and switch of, we're not going to do the punchline, pause for effect. Now we're going to do the punchline. They love that joke. They love it. And it's never not funny.
Anyway, Homer's grisly demise at the bottom of a canyon is not dealt with at this point. He's back to the garden. He's about to take it apart with a circular saw.
I again, because I think my head was in the idea of a cursed trampoline, I genuinely thought he was going to get cut to ribbons. By the
That's probably where the Halloween episode would have gone. But
I am almost certain, the more we talk about it, this was a Treehouse of Horror that they just essentially didn't use in a Treehouse of Horror and then put it into an intro.
Anyway, his cable is not long enough. He runs at it with a circular saw, just ends up ripping a chunk out the wall. Again, subverting expectations. You expect the plug to come out. It doesn't. It just takes the wall out.
Have you ever done something like that, though? Like, accidentally just done massive damage with kind of an innocuous action?
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember as a kid, I was trying to, I got a towel trapped under a chair, and I thought, oh, well, I'll just yank it. That's not going to cause any problems. It literally broke the table. It literally broke the entire table. And I just kind of stood there and waited for my parents to, come down the stairs and give me a bollocking, because I'm like, well, it's not like I can lie.
I mean, you could have, but...
I could have. I mean, I
would have failed.
As a child, I lied all the time. Once I found out that lying was a thing that was possible, I lied all the time.
You rolled a nat 1 on the persuasion check.
I was a terrible child. I feel for my parents. I was a terrible child. I was a piece of shit. Carry on.
Anyway, Homer just gets the cable wrapped around, the circular saw yanks the chunk out the wall and it wraps around it. And it's a whole mess. And Homer,
it's going to rust.
Yeah, he at this point, it has broken him. He just breaks down and just hysterical laughter. He's insane.
I love the gag with Bart here, though. That if you want something to get stolen, just put a bike lock on it.
Yeah.
Which is accurate if you've ever been to Dewsbury.
This does work. He chains it to the fence, and within 5 seconds, Snake has taken it, and
I love that
he has got himself a bed.
I was expecting Jimbo in the gang, not Snake. But yeah, then Snake's, all right, I got a bed.
No, Jimbo's in the next scene, bouncing
also,
on the
guy in the comments that said my impersonation of Mr. Burns wasn't good. Fuck you. My impersonation of Burns is great. So is my impersonation of Snake. I'm going to stop reading the comments.
You should never read the comments.
This is very true. No, I love
commenters do have their
comments.
Burns.
Wait, no, but my impersonation of Burns is great. How dare you? But thank you for commenting. I love you.
Do I need to do my impersonation of you?
Oh God, no. We don't have time. We don't have time.
Anyway, Homer and Marge are arguing in bed about whether the trampoline was a good idea. We've taken 6 minutes of trampoline nonsense just to get to an argument, which kind of starts setting things in motion a little bit.
Yeah.
The trampoline was completely fucking irrelevant. So yeah, Homer's like, well, at least I'm trying new things. If it was up to Marge, all we'd ever do is work and go to church. Marge says, no, I do fun things. Weird, oddly specific, and maybe slightly strange note of mine is, what does Marge wear to bed?
Nothing.
It varies on the episodes.
It varies on the shot. If she's shot from the front, you can see a collar. She's wearing a nightie. If she's shot from the back, she's butt-ass naked.
No, in this one, she's not wearing anything. Because I was thinking...
But there are... No, if you watch it, there are shots where she's face on when they're showing her speaking. You can see a collar of a nightie. She is wearing something from the front.
I thought that was just the blanket.
I think the collars in some of the flashbacks they show,
Normally she wears a pink nightie.
Yeah, you can. I think you can see the nightie in some of the shots when she's shown from the front, but when she's facing Homer, when you back, for some reason.
Yeah, during the one where they're bouncing on the hood of the car, she's not wearing anything. But as soon as you get into the shots where she's kind of flashing back about, I nag all the time.
And
there's a few of her
back.
in bed where she has.
Wait.
Yes, she's wearing a nightie in those ones. Yeah.
I just liked the gag that you said she was flashing back, because in the shots she's literally just all back on display.
Dun 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 dun.
Wah.
Anyway, the following day, Marge would like the kids to give her the truth about whether she's any fun or just a nagger. They are hesitant to give an answer, and I immediately am terrified that I've accidentally started watching a clip show.
Yeah.
Because we just get like a barrage of like 5 or so like clips from previous episodes of
But
Marge nagging.
this is how you do a sort of filler clip showy bit. Is you don't make it an entire episode. You just use it as like a funny way to almost remind people of the person's character. Is Marge is a nagger. Here's some examples of her nagging from the actual show. That's all you do. Don't do an entire fucking clip show episode.
Yeah, it is just, honestly, yeah. In spite of it being a long episode, it is just a way to fill some fill some space without having to do extra animation work. It's like, oh, we've already got the footage.
And it makes the joke funny that if you think about it, all Marge does is nag. It works.
She went on a high-speed chase last episode. She does fun things.
I mean, in the earlier seasons, her personality was focused on being naggy, kind of like how Lisa's ruin everything kind of theme going on.
Yeah, because every character was built to be a traditional sitcom character, and then obviously Simpsons became its own thing.
Yeah,
I know we're 2.5 hours in, but I want to defend Marge. She made a drunken buffoon of herself and tried to cheat on her husband in season 1. Like, she wasn't that boring.
Marge. I'm not saying that is. I'm just saying that, like, for the purpose of the episode, this was a very easy way to demonstrate.
Yeah. No, I know what Marge's character is, but I think it's an unfair judgment on her.
Agreed.
I'm gonna say in the character focus episodes, they usually do seem to break the stereotype that they've been placed in.
Yeah.
But they tend to like pull them back into that stereotype whenever it's not their episode.
Everything resets to 0, basically.
Anyway, Marge is definitely, absolutely, totally not upset that people see her as nothing but a nagger.
She's
and,
going to her sisters
go to
just because she wants to go see them. It's for no reason. She just wants to go see them, okay?
The door slams, you hear car tires squealing.
She nearly kills Ned.
Ned almost gets run down.
I want to give Ned a hug. I feel like he needs it.
Patty and Selma's, they're running a weird suite of medical tests on Marge. They're doing her blood pressure. They're taking urine samples.
I'm going to say I like the lamp.
The lamp? That's a cool lamp, yeah.
It's a pyramid lamp with a camel light.
Oh, the pyramid base, yeah. Well, they're single ladies. They got the money to travel around, see the world.
They could have just put a generic lamp in there, but I like it that they went the extra detail.
A little bit of character, yeah. Anyway, they recommend Brad Goodman, who has an infomercial playing around the clock on Channel 77.
Clock. Not suspect at all.
So we cut to his show.
Who voices Brad Goodman? Because it's very familiar, Brad Goodman.
It is Albert Brooks, who was, I think, Jacques, and will be later on Hank Scorpio.
Right, okay. Yeah, Jacques, Hank Scorpio, and Russ Cargill are his, main...
Yeah, he voices, I think, 10 different characters over the years in The Simpsons. Always just, one-off kind of characters.
Yeah,
but,
Brad Goodman
comes
comes back, but in the... He's only voiced by Albert Brooks once.
Oh, right, okay.
When it's Radioactive Man, it's Harry Shearer.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, he's giving us some of his celebrity testimonies and explains his theory of the personality disorder Feel Bad Rainbow.
Yeah. It's just a comment on, buzzword terms in order to grift a product. It's like the difference between a nutritionist and a dietitian. Kind of thing.
Yes, yeah. I mean, he is based on a genuine character,
John Bradshaw.
Thank you.
Is who he's based off.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with John Bradshaw's work.
No, me neither.
But I feel like a lot of this is just almost shots fired at the entire self-help industry as a whole,
grifters.
rather than
That's
a
just
specific one.
all Brad Goodman is. Yeah, he's just infomercial grifters.
I would say more so than infomercial grifters, just the self-help industry. Look how many people with no qualifications will just write a book on how to improve your life.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Even people who have utterly ruined and destroyed their life. Looking at you, Jordan Peterson. Anyway, yeah, he's got the Depression Rainbow, the Depression Rainbow, the
That's what I call my life.
Yeah, his rainbow of bad vibes. Depression, insomnia, motor mouth, darting eyes, indecisiveness, decisiveness, bossiness, uncontrollable falling down,
Homer could do with some help with that.
geriatric profanity disorder, and finally, specifically relevant to this episode, chronic nagging.
Nagging.
This echoes in Marge's head until it's revealed that this is in fact just what the TV does sometimes. It just needs a good clout.
If it's broadcasting to it, the TV doing that bothers me.
Yeah, that's
don't worry
not how
about
TVs work.
Anyway, Marge comes home to Homer along with a Bradshaw tape that they're going to watch, and it's going to change their lives.
Yeah, I like that they slowly like start hugging. Like it really does seem to like affect both of them. You'd think the normal gag would be Marge being like really interested and then Homer slowly like falling asleep, but no, they both really care about it.
It is pivotal to this whole episode, so
Yes,
everybody's got to be on board with this. Yeah, as all things in Simpsons Eye is presented by Troy McClure, who you may remember from self-help videos such as "Smoke Yourself Thin" and "Get Confident, Stupid."
I need to be told that sometimes.
Could be my like biography title.
Get confident, stupid.
Well, a few weeks ago he was a washed-up actor with a drinking problem. Now he's got a job and a can of fortified wine.
Ah, sweet liquor, you make the pain go away, or whatever he says.
I like the nod that he's down to 1 from 50.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, Brad Goodman comes on and
If you're
tells him
drinking
about it.
50 drinks a day, you're dead within like a couple weeks, man.
Yeah, that's pretty rough amount to get through.
I'm fairly certain if you drank 50 drinks in a day, you would just die. I know it's Simpsons. I'm not like actually arguing the logistics of Simpsons. I'm just saying that in real life, I'm fairly certain if you drank 50 cans of fortified wine in a day, you would die.
He had 50 drinks. They're not all fortified wine necessarily. I reckon Andre the Giant could have done it, if nothing else.
Oh, well, if Andre the Giant could do it, then we could all do it.
I mean, there are people here that will drink entire cases of beer a day.
Yeah, that's a case. That's not 50
That's not
cans.
A case
unless you got
is
a
like,
case that's 50.
Yeah, but that's
I was
also
gonna say-
cheap plonk. That's like Budweiser. It's like 2%.
Yeah. Who's to say his fortified wine isn't cheap?
No, I'm just
Could be
saying.
like Zima.
I feel like if he's drinking 50 cans of something and he needs fortified wine to get through a day, then what he's drinking must be pretty high. Simpsons, fucking hell, this doesn't matter.
Fortified wines are not usually low ABV. But anyway.
Yeah.
Brad Goodman is often asked about his qualifications. Well, he may not have credentials or training, but
I
he has
love
a
that he says them
PhD
with
in
air
pain.
quotes, though. Credentials or training, as if they're not important things.
Apparently, he draws a circle. He draws a circle on the board, and apparently, like, this is actually a parody of John, what's his name, style. Like, he would just genuinely just draw very simple things on a board, and that's all he would explain it with. We cut to hours later. The circle continues to be the only thing he's written on the board, but he has in fact solved all of Troy McClure's problems in his life, except for the fact that he's still drinking. But
Yeah,
don't worry about that.
The gag of him like drinking the glass of wine and then like with the finger.
You solved all my problems, glug. So yeah, Homer and Marge get into quite an amusing bit of like, what do you call this? Like
Buzzwording.
therapy language kind of thing. Yeah.
You said it's amusing. I've heard this joke so many times in so many different sitcoms that even if Simpsons was like the first to do it, having seen it now, it was not funny. It was irritating.
Fair play.
This joke has been so overplayed. And again, at the time, I'm sure Simpsons was like one of the first shows to do it. But at this point, I found it irritating.
Yeah, they do a whole bunch of vaguely.
I'm feeling shame
scarcely.
right now. Well, I feel
Yeah,
validated for your admittance of your shame. You know that. It's just
barely
like,
English
okay.
therapy speak kind
Yeah.
of stuff. Yeah. We then cut to Marge popping in and asking Homer if he ate a whole pan of brownies just to illustrate this.
Yeah.
Bart says, oh, Homer's in trouble now, and they continue with more therapy speak to show what they've learned and how they're working through their issues.
Yeah.
That's all they do with that bit. Doesn't really pay off. Bart and Lisa are just a little bit confused by that. We cut back to the kitchen table where Homer's looking at the free section again. Now he's looking at surplus drums of mayonnaise from Operation Desert Storm, which
Would be 2 years
Yeah.
old by now.
Yeah, but yeah, it's military grade and sealed in a drum. It's probably fine.
Military grade mayonnaise.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
camo mayonnaise.
Ew.
Just mayonnaise MREs.
Mayo de noche.
Dehydrated mayonnaise.
Like, yeah, Steve MRE guy, like, eats stuff that's, like, decades old. It'll be fine. Anyway, Brad Goodman is coming to town. This is also noted in the newspaper. So, Homer doesn't think they need to go. Who needs Brad Goodman? They're all fixed. However, Bart appears to be riding a chair in the garbage disposal in the sink. So, maybe there are other people who could benefit from this as well. We get a weird conversation, which is also weirdly lampshaded, where Homer drives them all to the lecture and explains to everybody that they're at the lecture and they agreed to attend a self-help seminar.
What an odd thing
Bart
to say.
indeed lampshades this with, what an odd thing to say. Don't know what they were doing with that scene, really, but yeah,
not really.
It sets things up, I guess. They are now at a seminar.
There's a lot of low effort moments in this episode.
So Brad Goodman would like to know what everyone's issues in the audience are. Quimby can't commit to a relationship. Burns is too nice, which I like to think is a reference to, like, Rosebud, where he committed to being nice and has changed his mind now.
Yeah.
It's like, I will be nice, and 2 episodes later, I'm too nice.
This
A
is
lot of their
annoying
issues
now.
feel like this was just a bunch of things that they kind of sat around the writers' table spitballing and just went with how it was said then.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite probably. So he's got a simple trick. There's no trick to it, it's just a simple trick.
Yeah.
He wants them to close their eyes and listen to their inner voice, their inner child. Ned's inner child tells him he's doing super.
Stay the course.
Moe's inner child wonders why Moe doesn't use his Italian accent anymore.
Apparently Moe's Italian. With a name like Mo Sislak. Definitely Italian.
Skinner's invited up onto stage to work out his rage on a dummy of his mother.
I remembered this bit being way more elaborate than it is, but it kind of isn't. It gets cut off before anything like dramatic happens.
This is then contrasted with the fact that his mother is sat in the audience watching him work out his anger on a dummy of her.
Did the version you watch actually have him do the, like, tearing
biting?
open of the model with
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he bites a chunk out of the dummy.
I just remembered him ripping its head off. I don't know why.
right.
Well, he
Yeah, I
chokes
don't know
it.
why. Yeah, true. Yeah. I did like the punchline of, we're still going antiquing, right, mother?
And funnily enough, on the version that I watched, right at, like, kind of towards the last frame, whenever he's, like, sending Skinner off stage, bright blue buttons for eyes actually go dark whenever he lets go of the...
Oh, no.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This really was a Treehouse of Horror episode.
Anyway, Brad says that as soon as you're not a human being, you're a human doing. This prompts Bart to interrupt and say he's a
human
human
going.
going and try to walk out. Brad loves this. He wants him to come up on stage. Wants to know why Bart yelled out that remark. He just wants to express himself. Bart says he does what he feels like. This inspires him. Bart is the inner child that he's been talking about.
Yeah, they build it up to like Lisa's gonna be a big part of this episode with her reaction to this, but then she literally just says like "what," as in like questioning it, and then is basically not seen or heard from for the rest of the episode, barring like a couple
She
small things.
pops up a couple times, but it's there just to like almost to be
Remind you
that
she's
foil
there.
to contrast.
They
yeah,
didn't know what they wanted to do with this episode.
no, they kind of didn't. It's weird because a lot of people actually seem to really quite like this episode, but I'm not convinced I'm on board with that line of thought right now.
It's okay.
It's fine.
It's not good.
Anyway, he invites Marge and Homer up on stage to talk about what a great job they did parenting, and he's a little surprised that to find that their parents are a man with an obvious eating disorder and a woman whose hairstyle is, he's sure, only worn for shock value.
What is Homer eating in that scene?
Candy apples.
Candy apples, I think, yeah.
Why are they red on the inside?
Because animation is difficult.
Yeah, mostly that. I think it was an animation job.
For some reason, like when I first saw him, I was like, lollipops?
Candy apples. I don't know why there's candy apples at this lecture, but there are. Oh, Homer
He's just
brought them
got
from
them on
home.
deck. He's just like,
Homer
just
just
pulls
read
them out
it.
of his
pull out
pocket.
some candy apples. Yeah.
Oh God, no! A candy apple that's been in someone's pocket. Blech. Imagine.
I presume it had a wrapper on it. I don't think it was just fuzzy in his pocket.
Imagine the lint.
Adds texture.
I think Homer would eat it even with the lint, though.
Gets between your teeth.
Who needs to floss afterwards?
Anyway, he says, we can all learn a lot from this young man, and Bart declares him to be Rudiger. Marge corrects him and says, his name is Bart, but his name is not important.
Doesn't matter what his name is.
This lad has fully developed ego integrity.
I don't like
with
when Americans
well-defined
say
boundaries.
lad. I don't like when Americans say lad. It's weird.
Lad.
It's almost as bad as when Americans say twat.
Twat.
Nah, but you don't say that, do you? You don't say that.
No,
You say
you
it wrong.
don't.
You say it wrong. And I genuinely just think, just don't use the insult because you're using it wrong. It doesn't sound. It's meant to sound offensive. It doesn't sound offensive when Americans say it. It sounds adorable. It sounds fucking adorable.
I mean, they could start by pronouncing it right.
Exactly. If they said it right, it might actually sound like an insult.
Have you
So.
ever...
Anyway.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm trying to move us along. Go on.
Simpsons.
Have your derailment.
I was just going to derail on the aftermath of the events outside of the we like Roy thing, but...
Oh, yeah. We like Roy.
But...
Yeah, so Brad whips the crowd up into frenzy. They start chanting, be like boy, be like boy. The seniors at the back chant, we like Roy, we like Roy.
Yeah, I like that he's like, and now only the women. And then the seniors in the back. What are you doing?
Stage presence.
Yeah, he's just being a showman.
Yeah. So that's all he knows. Anyway, this prompts everybody to get into Brad Goodman frenzy. They're buying all his merch. Lisa's not sold. She says he's just peddling a bunch of easy answers. Again, shots fired at the self-help industry.
Yep, it's true.
We cut to a news broadcast. We've got Kent Brockman talking about the new mood in the area in Springfield.
And I think it's about fucking time.
Yeah, one of their few censored swear words.
Yeah.
And
also, who has not done this with a freaking Cool Whip? Or what do you guys call it there?
Squirty cream?
Yeah, squirty cream. Who has not done this?
Absolutely.
Kent Brockman whips
Fucking
out
hell.
2 cans of squirty cream and just starts
Love it.
downing them
Love
both
it.
in his mouth on the air.
What a great day when you get to do that.
Yup.
What a great day.
Bart feels like a god, but Lisa reminds him that he's sitting on an ice cream sandwich.
Haven't we all? No, is the answer to that question.
Santa's little helper starts licking it off his
Oh,
butt.
God, I hated that bit. It's weird.
I think you hate anything that has dogs licking things off people, though.
Yeah, that's weird, man. Don't do that. Just clean yourself like a fucking adult.
Just licking in general in a lot
The
of
dog's
shows
cleaning.
feels very, very awkward.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
even have to be a dog.
So we get into Springfield having Bart fever. Lovejoy's giving a twist on his boring old sermon. Mrs. Fish is told to take 5, and he starts playing. What is it? Is that the one?
I forget what it's called.
The Entertainer?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Entertainer.
Yeah.
Badly.
He has 3 cracks at that, and
I can do
screws
this.
it up every time. This drags on a little. They're doing a bit of a rake gag with this one, if we're honest, in an episode that's running long. But okay.
They do have a lot of filler in this one, just in general.
Yeah, because then they have Mayor Quimby, is it?
Got Miss Grabapple's class, where
yeah.
everyone's interrupting her with everyone's got to be a comedian.
Everyone's doing the Bart jokes, basically.
Everyone's got to
Wireless
do
was
their
an invention.
one-liners and get in front of Maroka so he can't talk.
Yep, that's the
They can't
ones.
talk.
Yeah. Yeah, she wants to know what Guglielmo Marconi's first broadcast was, and I just went Guglielmo Marconi mentioned because like his broadcast was done from within walking distance of where I live, so it's kind of cool.
Hey.
I like Marconi. But yeah, everyone's got to be a comedian. Bart's not impressed, so he wants to cheer himself up by going spitting off the overpass because that's what he loves to
Everybody's doing
do. all the Springfields turned out to spit off the overpass. It is causing pileups beneath, like there are cars honking, crashing. There's a body count associated with this.
Yeah. Someone definitely died.
So Bart returns to his room, very morose. Lisa comes in and wants to know why it sucks that everyone in town's acting like him.
I have a kind of like side gripe about the version I watched on this, because I watch with subtitles because my speakers suck. But I watched on Amazon Prime. You want to know how they spelled Lisa on this scene? In the subtitles?
How?
L-I-S-E.
Yeah, he calls her Lise.
Oh, he calls her
Lise.
Lise? That does
Yeah.
not
He
look
calls her
like
Lise,
Lise. Looks like lice without with like spelled wrong.
The spelling, L-I-S-E is the same spelling on Frankiac as well. Yeah, he calls it Lise.
Oh, that's so weird looking.
Bothers
me.
It's freakish and it bothers me.
Anyway, Lisa's here to explain things, as Lisa does, in a way that I'm sure Matt loves.
I don't remember. I mean, it was just Lisa saying techno jargon. Like, it wasn't particularly annoying because it was just Lisa being Lisa. The times I'm annoyed at Lisa is when it's not funny. When it's just...
I mean, I wouldn't say this was particularly funny. It is just trying to do some explanation here, but
I guess
in the absence of a repressive milieu,
I mean, I can be annoyed at
Lisa
Lisa if you want. I can say the line. I can say the thing if you want.
Bart has apparently fallen through the cracks of our quick fix 1 hour photo instant oatmeal society.
Shut up, Lisa.
And there we go.
I fulfilled my contractual obligation.
He develop a better identity, such as potentially a good-natured doormat.
It's true.
Back to the news. Kent Brockman is announcing Springfield's Do What You Feel festival, inspired by recent events. It's going to be whenever you feel like showing up.
Better than our previous Do What We Tell You festival.
Started by German settlers in 1946.
Yeah, I didn't like that. That was an intense joke.
Really concentrated.
Oh, you have to cut that. You can't say that.
Anyway, the festival's opening up. Willie has taken Quimby's podium because that's what he feels like doing. He says if he's elected mayor, the first act will be to kill the whole lottie and burn your town to cinders.
That genuinely wasn't in the Disney Plus version.
Really?
No, I do not remember that at all.
Someone tells him that your mic's on. He's like, I know it's on.
Yeah, genuinely, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Wow. Oh, shit. Wow. That's censored. Huh, no kidding.
That surprises me on some aspects.
Unless I spaced, but I genuinely do not remember that at all.
It's in the scene where they're putting up the banner.
Yeah, no.
For the event. They might have cut it.
I'm fairly certain it went straight to Mayor Quimby announcing the opening of the festival and doing the whole My Wife thing.
I mean, there's a few things at the opening of it before we get to Quimby. Like, next scene is Otto directing cars into the car park and just parking anywhere. We get a pan across the festival, seeing people doing whatever they're doing, generally having a good time for the most part, really. Nothing massively outlandish. Ned and Carla playing steel drum. Brigham's just having a sing-along.
And we also get to the scene where...
Burns is having iced cream.
I'm really sad this didn't... this is the part that I thought was really sad they did not reference the last episode. Because he's like... Oh, he tells him he loves him, and he says, oh, and then he backs out of it and all those other stuff. And then he goes in and says, oh, who am I kidding? The boathouse was the time. If it would have referenced the ballet instead of the boathouse, I think it would have been
great. It is in the episode. I must have just spaced. Because I just went and checked and it is in there.
Okay. Yeah, Burns is a free spirit enjoying this so-called iced cream.
Yeah, I like it. Even though we've seen in previous episodes him having ice cream as a child.
Yes, yeah. It's been that was a long time ago. Let's be honest.
He's forgotten it.
Paddy and Selma are riding on a horse, butt naked through the town.
Yep.
Completely unshaven. You can see hairy legs and the works.
Feminism.
Yep. Captain McAllister is absolutely unfazed by this. In fact, he's quite enthusiastic about it. And
this
takes
will
a picture.
Keep me company on those cold nights on the sea.
Arr.
Yeah.
Homer is dressed like from Homer the Heretic. Just
Oh yeah, I never really thought
the
about
bear
that.
slippers
Yeah.
and dressing gown, toothbrush in his pocket as well.
Excellent. Just in case.
Marge's fit for this festival is, I have to say,
fucking love this.
it is great, but I also think it's weirdly 2025 coded.
Yeah, it kind of is, man. Yeah.
Isn't that her? I don't know if they've had the hippie episodes for Marge yet, where she has her hair down.
No, they haven't yet.
No,
Yeah, because that's the same kind of outfit she wears then, except she has a different colored shirt.
It's kind of similar to what she wore in high school, like when in the flashback episodes where her and Homer meet.
Yeah, for context for the viewers, listeners, she is wearing dungarees,
Love
got
a
big
woman in
gold
dungarees.
medallion.
Hell yeah,
And
more of that.
On top of her hair, she's got a red baseball cap worn backwards.
Hell yeah, more women in dungarees. That's the kind of feminism I want.
Dungarees are in, which is like, I was like, huh, that's weirdly modern. Like, this is like 30 years ahead of its time.
Fashion
but also,
is
I guess
cyclical.
it is. Yeah, it is a fashion is cyclical kind of thing. Yeah,
I mean,
it's
I dress like
Marge is
I'm
wearing
selling
something
cocaine
retro,
in the 80s
but...
in Miami, so it's like fashion is definitely cyclical.
Apu and his family go past on skateboards because they're
Skinner with
copycats
the
of Bart. Skinner firing
slingshot.
slingshots at Bart. Yeah. Then we get to Quimby finally opening the ceremony. He's got a bimbo on his arm who is not his wife, but he is sleeping with her, and he's fully open about that. He's comfortable with his womanizing. Everyone's pretty enthusiastic about that.
Yep. Captain
McAllister's
takes
getting
all the
more
pictures.
photos for those lonely nights at sea.
The animators loved drawing her.
Yeah. And to usher in a new era of feeling good, we've got James Brown to sing I Feel Good.
I loved how the band was not animated until they fell. The band do not move until they fall.
This is it's such a weird bit for me that made me almost... for me, I almost felt like this episode started with getting James Brown to sing I Feel Good and worked backwards from there.
Yeah.
And whatever they
Absolutely.
couldn't work backwards from, they just put filler in for.
They just used an old Treehouse of Horror fucking cutting room floor bit.
Yeah.
Because keep in mind, all of this started with Homer picking up a free trampoline. That's where this episode started.
I also think it's weird because they've done this before with musicians sometimes, where they get a musician on and then just have them do one of the songs they're best known for, and it's like, why did you get the actor on? You could have just if all you wanted was the song, you could just license the song. You didn't have to get the actor to do the song. He gets a line in a minute, but it is.
I think they're trying
blink
to.
and you miss it.
It is Simpson. It is like the studio trying to show off to some extent.
Could have another theory on that. In that it could be for licensing issues for syndication. If they have the person acting the thing, it's a unique performance. So if the license expires, that episode doesn't go out of rotation.
That's true.
Because it's a unique performance.
But then the question is, why didn't they get Michael Jackson to sing? Because Michael Jackson does not sing in his episode.
I don't know.
Remember, we talked about this. Michael Jackson acts in his episode, but it's not.
Licensing is complicated, I think, is guess probably the
Paying
simplest
Michael
answer we can
Jackson,
give
the voice
at the
actor,
approaching 3-hour mark.
Paying Michael Jackson, the voice actor, is different to paying Michael Jackson, the world-renowned singer.
Yeah.
Moving on, the episode's almost done.
Anyway, James Brown observes that the bandstand wasn't double-bolted.
Guy didn't feel like it.
Marge doesn't want to judge him too much, but
she
says he
feels
should
like
have done his job.
He should have done his job. Turns out that Willie didn't feel like oiling the Ferris wheel. The Ferris wheel crashes. Everything goes wrong. Fights start breaking out. Chaos ensues. They blame Bart. Bart hops in parade float with Homer. They drive very slowly. Wind blows all of the...
As soon as he floors
flowers.
it makes 5 miles an hour, which is fast enough to blow all the...
They're very, very
decoration off the outside
slowly
of the float.
getting away. Quickly, they're going to the old mill. No, we're not. Well, let's go to the old mill anyway. We clearly didn't know how to end this bit. The bit ends.
Yeah.
Then they're back at home watching TV.
Then we wrap up with everybody trying to find something to say about society.
Yes. Fucking nothing.
Self-improvement is better left to people who live in big cities. Self-improvement can be achieved, but not with a quick fix. Long, arduous journey. And Homer concludes that we're all fine the way we are.
Yes, that's exactly the takeaway we should always come from the end of Simpsons, is that we're all perfect.
And they start watching some sort of crime drama about a guy called McGonagall, who is also played by Albert Brooks.
Homer yells at the TV. My dad does that too. It's funny.
I've never understood yelling at the TV.
My dad does it all the fucking time, man. I do it, honestly. I yell at movies and stuff. Oh, when I'm on my own, I try not to do it when I'm in company.
I'll grumble at video games, but with shows, it's like, I can't change the outcome.
Yeah.
I can't be mad at it. I can just turn it off.
I
and
don't
leave
mean
it on.
Yeah, I don't think he yell. My dad doesn't yell because he's like actively annoyed. It's just how he engages with television.
How he de-stresses.
I mean, we spent 3 hours yelling at 2 episodes of The Simpsons now. So.
Hell yeah. So I'm just going to go straight to my summary because we're almost at 3 hours. Another pretty standard episode of The Simpsons. Honestly, talking about it, it's one of the few times we've talked about an episode and I've enjoyed it less than when I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. I was really happy to see the Trambampoline bit finally in its native habitat. But overall, this episode was like super overstuffed with just not bits. It could have easily been trimmed down to get to the plot sooner. Either I would rather see the Treehouse of Horror Cursed Trampoline episode. The rest of this episode was like mediocre.
It was long enough to have fit entirely into a treehouse bit as well.
Absolutely.
Like, it was like 6 minutes long. So a third of the episode is just Trambampoline.
So I would give it a free trampoline out of Homer. It's all fun and laughter until you're on it for too long and you break your back.
Okay, yeah.
You were wondering where I was going with that.
I just, for what it's worth, I also gave it a Trambampoline out of Homer because it has a lot of ups and downs.
I knew you would. That's why I went with the free Trambampoline.
I'll give it a human doing out of a human being. They did a lot in this episode that was absolutely pointless. It should have been a Treehouse of Horror.
Absolutely. 100%. Would rather see Cursed Trambampoline. 100%. 100%.
Did it have anything to say about society?
For me, Lisa kind of sums it up at the end, self-improvement, but there's obviously the observation that we as a society love creating messiahs. We love venerating people rather than actually working on ourselves. Why not?
Oh, they literally, in the end skimming bit there, like, they literally do that.
There's
like,
literally
we created a false idol, and they pans to a gold statue of Brad Goodman,
Why not just worship Dr. Phil and pretend that's akin to improving yourself rather than actually going through the difficult task of being a better person? It did have stuff to say about society. I genuinely do think they were trying to make a joke and like a commentary on the way mob mentality works. So
they do so much with mob mentality.
Yeah.
I'm not sure like they ever really get anywhere with that.
No.
Like for me, like the self-help stuff and poking fun at the over-reliance on that and dubious effectiveness of that is probably like the bigger takeaway.
I feel like the intent of it was that mob mentality thing, but I think the more pertinent underlying thing was how we basically amplify small problems into big problems and then offer cheap, easy fixes so we can profit off of them.
Yeah, the American dream.
Yep.
Yay.
A little bit.
Capitalism ruining everything since
Whenever.
Yeah, we haven't always had capitalism.
This is true.
Ruining everything since feudalism.
At least you had job security then. At least you knew what you would be doing half of the year, working.
Yep.
And usually you were housed.
And you were housed.
Al, thank you very much for joining us. Please tell the good people where they can find you and what you're up to.
I do reviews, I do Let's Plays, I do streams, all about gaming stuff. I am working on my own TTRPG. It will be finished in soon. Trademark. You know how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a fan of Blizzard games for a very long time. I know what soon TM means.
In 20 years, it'll just pop out of nowhere. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube and Twitch mostly, and on Blue Sky. All at Alzorath. If you can remember how to spell it.
There'll be links in the description. Matt, what you got going on?
I'm Matt. Twitch.tv/Mr. Gablin. I stream every day at 3 p.m. GMT. I took the day off today because I was ill. But yeah, I'm currently streaming through Rogue Trader. It's been fantastic so far. Once I finish that, I'm going to do another run of Rogue Trader, but I'm also going to be doing a side run of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous because I'm just really enjoying Owlcat at the moment. Other than that, I'm on Blue Sky at Matt Perspective. I just occasionally post about my shitty thoughts on reality, like the fact that I think I'm too young for Beyonce. Go to my Blue Sky to find out what the fuck that means. Other than that, suck my dick.
Right. Well, there'll be a link to sucking Matt's dick in the description below.
Hell yeah! That's why I come on podcasts.
And as ever, don't forget to check out all the other versions of this podcast if this is not your preferred one. If you're listening in the audios, there's a video version. If you're on the video version, there are audio versions. Video version comes with bonus snarky remarks and fact-checking from me occasionally if you want the extra content there.
Yeah, and I make jokes about it, but I do genuinely appreciate everyone that comments with their thoughts and stuff, because for one, engagement drives the algorithm. That's very important. So if you do have a thought, please do comment. I might make a joke, but that's just to let you know that I do read them, and I do appreciate
Even if
them.
you don't have a thought, leave a comment.
Please let us know when you don't have thoughts. Every time you don't have a thought, comment on one of the Simpsons episodes randomly. Just when you're at work and you're not having a thought, when you get home, find a random Old Man in the Morning episode, leave a comment.
Or if you're like, what did I just hear? Leave a comment.
Yeah. Which, if you're listening to me, should be a regular question. The fuck he just say?
Follow me on Blue Sky. I'm at Maroka. My old YouTube content is Button Mash on YouTube.
Still genuinely some of the best LGBT discussion videos on Maroka's channel.
Oh,
genuinely go.
Thank you.
And kick-ass
I didn't make that much of it, but thank you.
I've genuinely watched your the discussion about LGBTQ stuff in gaming where you talk about your transness and stuff. I've watched it 4 times.
Nice, thank you.
Genuinely fantastic video. Go watch it, guys.
Yay. But yeah, we're past the 3-hour mark according to my recording, so we are going to fuck off and do something else for a bit.
I need to pee so bad.
This is so long. Thanks.
The dragon
Bye.
soup is in me.
Bye.
Bye.